the customs officer is in the process of walking over to where Loden is sleeping and saying, all right, we'll just have to open this trunk and we'll send you on your way.
And Rourke immediately says, Julian, why don't you help him?
Will I help him?
You have dominate. And we do not want him opening the trunk in which Loden is curled up in torpor.
And you probably have all the cash as well. We don't even need to dominate this guy.
I'll try to butt into the conversation, and I mean, I'll dominate it. I'll try dominate first.
All right.
Good idea.
You know.
So what are you going to tell him to do?
This isn't the coffin you're looking for.
Oh.
All right. So let's see. What is your manipulation plus leadership?
Oh god, it's upside down.
Find my old copy that I corrected so that mine is. There we go.
It is 4.
All right. All right. So he looks over you. He says, "This isn't the coffin I'm looking for."
You should find someone else to bother.
I should find someone else to bother.
Alright, let's go.
All right, let's go.
No, I didn't tell them that.
No,
I didn't tell them.
Yeah, he basically just kind of stands there in a daze and waves you guys through.
Does he need to sign anything?
He's got all the paperwork basically taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so you've got the money, and Rourke has the money, and you've also got the pamphlet for the auction you're supposed to go to, and you have the address of the haven that Loden has acquired here at a hotel in the city, as well as finally the phone number for the Queen of London. And Rourke, you're supposed to ask permission for her to basically feed in the city.
Okay, so how long until this auction begins?
The auction will be happening. This is kind of like mid-afternoon. The auction is going to be happening the next day.
Okay. So let's get Loden to his haven
All right.
for now, and I will make contact with the Queen.
Actually, no. Strike what I said before. The auction will be taking place later in the afternoon. This is early morning.
Okay.
Still, let's...
It's still the same. Yeah, you still got a couple of hours.
I'd like to get Loden someplace safe.
Yeah.
Great man that he is.
Yeah, you have time to do that before the auction.
Okay. So let's do that.
All right. How do you want to get from where you are with all your bags to the hotel?
Shouldn't Derek made these arrangements previously?
Well, he should have, but, you know.
Is there like a car rental?
Yes, there is, actually.
So possibly we should rent a car, a larger vehicle that can handle the...
Yeah, you can rent, like, a van, no problem.
Okay.
Who is going to be doing the driving?
That will be Derek.
I would assume as much.
Okay. So let's see. And Derek.
I will have Natasha do a once-over of the van to make sure it's safe.
All right.
Yeah.
A once-over will be a perception plus investigation.
Not security?
Yeah, sure. You can use security.
6.
I've got 7 perception plus investigation if you'd like.
All right, Julie, if you want to take a gander at it as well, that's fine.
You can both gander.
So I step up and I'm like, step aside and let me handle this.
All right. You guys
Little
both very competitively gander at this van, but neither of you find anything.
Work is satisfied.
She'll lift the coffin up into the back of the van, make sure it's secure.
Okay. Yep, you've got everything in there.
Yay,
Derek,
Potence.
You're the one driving?
I am.
Okay.
Derek, don't forget this is England, left side of the road.
Wouldn't dream of it.
It's a good thing you mentioned that, actually. It does call for an intelligence plus drive to make sure that, this goes correctly. I'll actually lower the difficulty since you mentioned it. But
All
Derek,
right,
what
my
is your
roll
intelligence
is
plus
6.
drive? Alright. Alright. So yeah, you, no, you keep your head about you. It feels really weird. Also, it feels weird being on, like, the wrong side of the car that you're driving on. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
But we make it.
you get through.
Okay. Did anyone follow us? Did anyone keep track of that while we were driving?
Yes, why don't you, whoever wants to can give me perception plus alertness rolls.
Yeah, I'll
6.
call out them to do it.
Okay.
I have 5.
Alright. Yeah, no one notices anyone following them.
Okay. So we arrived safely?
Yep. You arrive at a very nice-looking hotel. And as soon as you kind of pull up, they've got your reservation already on hand. So, valets, you know, they come out, they take the car, they'll take all the bags up
Okay.
for you.
I'll have Natasha stay with the trunk.
Alright.
I wouldn't think of anything else.
Okay. They also have, waiting at the desk, they have, the main guy at the desk says that he has a package for your group as well, which he'll hand over to you, Rourke.
Okay. I'll sign all the paperwork, sign in, or whatever we have to do in 70s hotel.
If there's nothing else special that you guys want to do, then we'll just skip straight to past all the paperwork to you guys being up in the hotel.
All right, and then I will make a call to the Queen.
Okay.
Whatever number I have there.
All right.
And keep that ball rolling.
Okay. So, as soon as you the call picks up, a warm voice replies, "Your business, please."
So I will identify myself. I am Rourke, servant to Loden, and I wish to inform the Queen of his presence in her city.
I understand. He says, Her Highness gladly extends such permission to her very welcome guest. There is only one stipulation. Do not feed in the theater district.
Understood.
Alright. With that, he'll just kind of hang up on you.
Right. I assume you provide the information to the rest of us as well?
Are you going to feed in the theater district, Derek?
Well, not if you tell me I can't.
You're a ghoul.
Ah, right.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot I wasn't a vampire.
So, yes, I will leave a message for, because I don't know if Loden will awake before I'm back from the auction. So I will leave a message that he has permission to feed anywhere but in the theater district.
Alright. Anything else you guys want to do?
I'll have Natasha and Juliet, if he wishes, look over the room, make sure there's nothing.
7.
6 again.
7's higher than 6.
Julian's a little competitive, but you know.
I wouldn't be competitive with the lady with the gun and the bad attitude.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but you know. He's got his
It's
own
not
way.
that attitude, it's stern.
You guys do not find any, like, anything. You don't find any, like, bombs, any listening equipment, nothing.
Okay, check out the package I brought up.
Okay. Yeah, it's mailed from, Loden's Haven in Chicago. It contains all of your, sort of dubious legality equipment.
Oh, okay. So we did. Okay. Alright. Do I carry a gun?
Yeah, probably. Do you have firearms?
I do have firearms. I must have
Then,
my
yeah,
gun
you
is
probably do.
I will,
It doesn't actually say what equipment these characters have, but if you have firearms, then I assume you have a gun.
Alright. So like a pistol or something?
Just like a
Okay.
handgun.
Alrighty.
No one
Well,
is
it
here like
is-
Golgo 13 pulling out a M16.
That's probably a little bit harder to ship to England.
Alright.
Alright, well, I don't have anything else to do. Waiting for my killing time, I guess.
So, who all is going to be going to the auction and who is going to be staying in the hotel?
Staying with Loden.
Okay.
Yes, and keeping an eye on Derek for me. And I'll probably take Julian with me.
Okay, well in that case I'm apparently going to be staying at the hotel. I feel like you guys aren't trusting me as
I
much as you
really
should.
don't trust you out in London, Derek. Honestly, I don't.
I have done nothing wrong so far.
So far. Alright.
It's our history, which is in, like, everybody's description. Okay? I read through those character descriptions, it's all like, and nobody likes Derek.
It is kind of funny that
Yeah.
no one likes Derek except for Amber, who, you know, Stallworth isn't here, so.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
After they leave, she takes a wadded up piece of paper and puts it between the door and the frame.
Okay.
It's nothing super heavy, but it's still a quote unquote security system.
Alright. So we are going to swap over to vampire characters. And, yeah. So, all of your vampire characters wake up in the hole that you were hiding in at the end of the last game.
Does Ryan go into frenzy?
Yeah, so, Ryan, as you're waking up, give me a courage roll.
Courage is 5.
Alright. Okay. So, the moment you wake up, you start to feel basically panic as you realize that you have no idea where you are or how you got here. But, after a few moments, you take some calming breaths, you regain control of yourself. You do not actually go into frenzy, although you came damn close.
Alright.
Yeah, you're being trained, Ryan. That's awesome.
Huh.
And this is the first time that you realize you're just kind of, you know, checking yourself. You know, they undo the handcuffs on you, Ryan, and as you're checking through your pockets, you realize that you actually have a... Oh, I forgot to switch this over. You find that you actually have a piece of paper in your pocket. And it is up on stream now. So, this is the newspaper that you acquired before the, at the end of the previous session.
I better open up the stream then.
Bloodless animal man seized by police. By Star of Masquerade Cockfight. I remember that.
Yep. I'll give you a chance to look through that quickly while I find my place in the book.
Very reliable sources which shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
Okay. God, this guy writes like an asshole.
And Jonathan would know.
Yeah, I would know.
Reporting right here, Scotty Cartwright.
And this star reporter simply refused to give up.
Brilliant.
You know what, Jonathan? Why don't you give me an intelligence plus academics?
Okay, why?
You'll see.
To find out what your real opinion is.
7, and I think I have a specialty.
Okay.
I believe the one I had before was books, so I'll just keep it at that again.
Okay. Literature.
Yeah, literature, that's better.
That's a fancier word than books. I know a lot of book smarts.
Yeah.
He's got the best words.
Remember, I made this character when I was like 12 or 13.
Alright.
They wrote a hyphen in the verb cover up. Fuck my life.
This character's like fucking 7 years old by now.
Yeah, you don't think this is really the best writing that you've ever, seen. Seems below average to you.
Right.
Anytime you see this reporter as the first sentence in 2 paragraphs, you can assume that the writer is self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
Well, when his
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
when his byline is star reporter.
Also, a journalist is supposed to maintain integrity by not involving themselves in things, and by saying this reporter, you're kind of already immediately involving yourself. Whatever.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, I had to drop in there.
It's fine.
I'm assuming this is a tabloid, not an...
Yeah, it doesn't. You look for the part where it says Chicago Tribune, but you're not finding it. Instead, it looks like it's from something called the Tell It All.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And, yeah, the kind of the subtitle for the magazine is Exposing the Truth That They Don't Want You to Know, and there are quotation marks around they.
Oh, man. The glorious they. My arch nemesis.
All right. So Ryan shows us all this piece of paper.
Yep.
Okay. And I will I'll look at Ryan and ask if this has some importance to him.
Just stood out.
If you have any information of the origin of this body, please contact either the police or this reporter at Tell It All. And he gives a number for this reporter, not the police.
Yeah, you know.
Was this in the back of... This was from the first edition book, right?
Yes.
I'm curious.
Are you going to call that number?
Maybe. Hold on one second.
It's not 555, so it goes somewhere.
What do you think the chances are that it goes to, like, the original, like, Atlanta or whatever offices for White Wolf? That was like Mark, whatever, Rainhagen's, personal phone number.
All right, so it stood out, Ryan said.
Yes, and it was posted by the police here in, the place that they raided, for the weird cult.
No longer in service.
Oh.
Oh, God,
Was at some stage.
That is the implication.
Fascinating.
All right, so, but it doesn't appear to have any link other than the police were reading it here.
Well, I mean, it talks about a police raid, and they had posted it up at the site of a police raid.
Well, right, but he didn't. Okay, but this doesn't talk about a cult, does it? Did I miss that part?
It does not seem to, no, but you get this. Ryan has the strong impression that it's talking about this place.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, all right then. So I need to refresh my memory of what are we doing?
You're looking for Loden, the prince.
What are our characters doing? We're looking for Loden. Okay.
Yes.
And we have one lead about like a park in the north side of Chicago
You
or
have
something.
one lead about a forest way outside of Chicago.
Okay. And the sheriff is being taken care of by the anarchs.
Mm-hmm.
And I read my notes here on what I've written down. So.
Also, I just want to point out while we're talking about how great the writing is, I love that they put the truth as capitals there on the.
The truth is out there. All right.
Wow.
This is Mulder essentially. All right, and Damien sent us here to this place saying that it was run by an anarch. Okay.
Yes, it was run by an independent ghoul, was what he said.
When we get here, the police say it was a cult.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Seems a little odd. So the question is, do we sidetrack to the Bloodless Animal Man, or do we follow our lead for Loden? Is there any reason for me to assume that the Bloodless Animal Man has something to do with Loden's conspiracy?
Well, the Bloodless Animal Man could be Loden. It does match the description of a vampire.
But it was half snake, half wolf.
Well...
Yeah, but like there's gangrel.
Yeah.
But I know that Loden's a Ventru.
Although, he, yeah, I mean, it could not be, as well. Also, you're not sure exactly how much of this is accurate. You haven't talked to Scotty, so you don't know how much of this is just tabloid stuff and how much of it is legitimate.
Well, candidly, Steven's going to assume that this is pretty tabloidy, other than Ryan seems to think there's something to it.
Yeah. No, it definitely...
But, of course, he is Malkavian, and you never quite know.
Yeah, that is definitely a legitimate read on this. I will just reiterate that Ryan definitely... You're still having the effects of your experiences at the end of the last session, and you definitely feel like this is important somehow.
I'll be back in 1 second.
All right.
All right. So Ryan is insisting we follow this up, is essentially what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if he's insisting. I'm just saying I can only tell him the unconscious impression that he gets.
Well, when he comes back, if he chooses to insist, because Steven is leaning toward following what lead he has on Loden to get this tied up so he can go back home to Gary. But we will try to...
You don't necessarily know that Loden will be out. All you know is that he was going to investigate the forest at some point.
Right. What I'm saying is, from Steven's perspective, this is it could be connected to Loden, but all I have for that is the crazy ravings of a Malkavian, whereas I actually found a clue in Loden.
Yeah. Although Malkavians are right half of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I know,
Well,
and I know.
Maybe not quite half. A percentage of the time.
A percentage of the time. And as I said, so David will have to make the role-playing decision of how insistent he is.
Their insight makes them guess the correct answer slightly more often than chance should dictate on its own.
Well, they do that on purpose, though. They always know
They
the
always
question.
know the answer. Sometimes they say the wrong answer.
Sometimes they give you the wrong one just to fool you.
Let's see what what the next flashback thing is. We might just switch over to that. Oh yeah, let's just switch over
Hey
to the
guys,
flashback.
sorry about the delay.
God damn it! I should have just come up with an ultimate plan immediately. You motherfucker.
Zach, you need to relax.
Oh, that was perfect timing, David. You have no idea.
No, I do. I heard him. He was talking about switching to something.
No, you.
I
You
could tell
didn't
it's because he's
experience
late
all
for
of
me.
You were sitting there just silently waiting, and then as soon as you heard it, you were like, "Okay, I'm back."
That's what it seemed like.
All right. Well, Mary.
All right. So, David, you need to make a role-playing decision. So, Steven is leaning toward heading to the woods to the north of Chicago to continue to look for Loden,
Why are you looking in the woods?
because that was our last clue. So,
What clue pointed to the woods?
the clue we found in Loden's, it was the only lead we came up with out of Loden.
You found a file that said that there was some sort of satanic cult out in the forest which might be a threat to the Masquerade. Loden had marked that he was interested in investigating it later.
So if he went out and investigated it and they had attacked him, that could be where he is. So that's
Well,
where
no,
Steven...
you know that he was abducted out of the house because the vault door was ripped off and he
oh,
was
that's
in
right.
there.
Anyway, but they could still have something to do with it. So it depends on how insistent you are that we go visit Mr. Scotty Cartwright as to where we go.
Oh, we should go to Cartwright first.
So you're going to be insistent.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't want to go to the woods.
That's true. I will say, based on your derangement, it's entirely possible that, since you know about what his derangement is, Stephen, it's entirely possible that this whole thing is just a gimmick and not for him to go into the woods.
Just because he doesn't go into... Okay, so how close is he to Frenzy?
Right now, not at all.
Not at all. But should we attempt...
To go to the woods.
But should we attempt to go to the woods?
Yeah, if you ever decide to go outside of a city, he's probably gonna freak the fuck out.
Alright. So he wants us to go. Well, this also, I guess, is part of that satanic cult, I guess. I guess I will humor my friend for now until I can think of a better plan.
To subdue him while you take him into the woods?
To subdue him while I take him into the woods. Then possibly this Scotty guy knows something about the woods as well. Alright. So let's head over to the Tell-It-All offices.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So,
Hey.
alright, you head over to the Tell-It-All offices, which you can find easily on the newspaper. You think, Steven, you hear Ryan possibly mumbling something about, ha, tricked him. But you're not sure. Like, you turn around and there's nothing, you know, he's just walking like there's nothing.
Whistling. Yeah, okay.
So it could just be something you've made up in your head.
Mm-hmm, possibly.
But yeah. So heading to the, Tell It All, there is basically it's a very rundown, like, office building. It's, like, surrounded by, like, Chinese restaurants, like, really bad Chinese restaurants. And, it's a cramped little space, and when you come in, the secretary, who's, basically just listening to music on her iPhone, just kind of, like, sweeping through her smartphone, she kind of looks up and, yeah, what do you want?
So I will ask for Mr. Wright.
She looks at you, and then she looks at the three men behind... Well, yeah, it would be 4 men behind you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah. And then she kind of does something on her phone, and then there's the sound of a text message, and then she's like, all right, Scotty will see you, and then she points back. He says, first room on the left.
All right. So I shall enter his office.
All right. Are all of you going in?
I would assume as much.
Okay.
Does anyone want to stay out?
How
Well,
large is the office? Can we all fit in there?
Barely.
Yeah. So Terry will probably stay outside.
Okay.
okay, Ryan will stay with Terry.
All right. Derek will stay outside with them as well. Since he's not.
Got him.
All right, so Jonathan, you and Steven head in to see Scotty Cartwright, and Miles, why don't you give me a perception plus alertness?
Just me?
Just you.
That's 4.
Okay. All right.
It's never a good sign when you laugh.
This is the funniest roll I think I've ever seen from you. And there was that one time.
That's saying something. That's
there
saying
was the one
something.
time where that ghoul accidentally, like, nearly decapitated your elder gangrel with, like, 5 fortitude in one hit.
Like a time I licked someone by falling over them.
This one's the funniest, though. Alright. Yeah, so you enter in, and you think you're getting, like, some kind of psychic message to you, very similar to the one you got when Sullivan Dane was after you. That sort of premonition of danger.
Spider sense is tingling.
Yeah.
Right then, I'll immediately look around the room, see if anything is taking aim at me or whatever. Anything out of the ordinary.
You see this guy, Scotty Cartwright, and his picture's up there. Right now it should be.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah. And you get the exact same feeling of, like, he's after you that you got when the hunter was behind you in the car.
Okay, I'm staying close to the door.
Alright.
The fact that you said, well, I suppose I already know the guy, so there's no point in not telling me, but the fact that you told me it's a funny roll means that I already know that there's no actual danger.
I really couldn't keep a straight face. It was a roll of 4. It was augmented by the fact that you have Auspex. And you rolled 4 ones.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen 4 failure rolls at once before, let alone all together. Alright. So yeah, and it's based on your roll, like, Steven, it is very obvious that Jonathan is, like, freaked out about this guy. You walk in, and he's immediately, like, eyes wide, backing up, like, staying behind you. Like,
Okay, so I'm looking at this Scotty Cartwright.
If only I had a fedora to conceal my eyes with. I'll sort of cover my face with my trench coat.
alright, yeah. So he's, like, kind of, like, turning away from him now. He's, like, putting his coat up like the murderers do as they're leading them from the courtroom and they don't want their face to be photographed. That
Okay, I'm gonna look at Scotty Cartwright and I'm gonna do an intelligence plus occult. Is there anything weird about this guy?
Yeah, what is your intelligence plus occult?
7.
So why did you make me and only me roll?
There was something that only you would have noticed.
Okay.
Alright. So, yeah, you do not see anything odd about this young man at all. He looks, kind of like a nerd,
Okay.
but that's
Alright.
about it.
Okay. Well, I will.
Oh God, a nerd.
And then, yeah,
Yes,
it
yes.
makes beautiful Jonathan look like even more of kind of an asshole. No, the unbeautiful.
Good lord.
All right. So the
And
Tremere will
he
bite
looks-
his tongue.
Yeah, Scotty looks kind of confused. He's like, yeah, can I help you too?
I will offer my hand and say, I am Dr. Stephen Higgins. I read your piece in about the bloodless animal man, and I have just come to discuss that with you.
Alright, he nods and he kind of sits down, shakes your hand, points to a seat. He's like, oh, of course, yes, Dr. Higgins, what are you a doctor of? Voodoo, Koldunic, rites, alien theory?
Hermetic rituals.
Very interesting. So he kind of, he shuffles some papers aside. Are you with the Order of Hermes, or...?
Affiliated.
And based on your previous intelligence plus occult roll, the fact that he mentioned the Order of Hermes kind of actually reverses what you were thinking earlier, that he didn't know anything, because it was, at some point, a legitimate magical organization.
So possibly this guy may know something.
Yeah, in fact, the Tremere clan originally emerged from said organization at some point in the past.
Which is why I went that direction, obviously, once this guy started.
Yeah.
So please, tell me what you know. This is very interesting to me. Supposedly this bloodless animal man was found. Where exactly was he found?
Well, he was found, he kind of looks through his notes, and then he kind of puts, like, a post-it on there. He says this is all, a matter of record at this point, but, and he points to the post-it, and it does give the address that you were at.
And the police raided that spot, I believe. Did they not? I saw the caution tape on the way over here.
Yeah.
And where is the bloodless animal man now?
Well, he kind of looks back and forth and he says, "You did say you were with the Order, yes?"
Yes.
Well, He says, normally I wouldn't, trust someone like that. He kind of examines you for a minute, almost kind of the way you were examining him before, and he kind of nods. So I wouldn't trust just anyone with this, but he's been taken.
Taken.
By them.
Them.
He kind of looks back and forth, and then he says, the government man.
Ah.
The New World Order.
I see.
Have I been able to compose myself somewhat?
With 4 ones? No.
Okay.
This is the most uncomfortable thing in the world with you standing up there. Shrinking from him like Nosferatu shrinking from a cross.
Okay. Alright, do you have any idea where they're holding him?
He says, I don't know, but I know the person you can talk to on that account. Alright. He basically goes through his drawers, he puts a bunch of things on the desk, then he finally pulls out a pack of Post-its. And out of the things he's pulled out of the desk, you notice, like, there are a lot of weird things, like a lot of burner cell phones, a lot of just kind of like things you would expect conspiracy theory type people to have.
I'm sure you've got a tinfoil hat.
No, wait, sorry, I forgot it's Steven. You find a lot of things that very sensible people who know what's really going on should have.
Steven is not a conspiracy theorist. Not this Steven. This Steven is going a different direction.
Alright. You do still have burner cell phones, though. Alright, so he,
I'm a drug dealer.
he takes out a Post-it note and he writes on it, and he hands over to you, and it is he says it's an address, it's marked, police department, and it gives the name of a guy this guy says, this is the cop you should talk to. Lieutenant Brick.
Good name. All right. All right. Well, I will stand up, shake his hand again,
He says, "Wait,
thank him.
are you going
Okay.
after the body?"
Um, if necessary.
All right. He reaches back into the desk and he pulls out. You know those really cheap, like, disposable cameras you get at, like, Walmart?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can use them, like, the one time.
Mm-hmm.
He hands this over to you.
Okay.
He says, I don't know what's going on with, like, Rourke and this cult and this weird bloodless animal man. But I want you to get a picture. If you see the body, take a picture. The people need to know.
All right. So he mentions Rourke, which I haven't heard before.
Rourke
No, because I
Rourke
do. I read the thing.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That is the only time you've heard of Rourke.
So he mentions Rourke and the cult. Interesting. So I will say Rourke as my voice breaks. Rourke.
Yeah.
Who is Rourke?
Oh, sorry, I thought you knew. I figured the Order of Hermes was already up to date on all the various, cults in the area.
Uh-huh.
Rourke is supposedly the leader.
Of this cult. Interesting. There have been varying accounts of.
Yeah, apparently he lived out at the that 7-Eleven for a while before he started it, but that's just what my sources are telling me.
Oh, so he was the one at the 7-Eleven. Interesting. So he was the ghoul at the 7-Eleven. All right. Well, again, thank you very much.
He says, all right, well, be careful. I don't know exactly, I don't know these things. I'm not, involved, he says. I'm just a star reporter that, writes down the stories that people like you make.
Right.
But he says, I've got word that these guys, this cult, have something outside the city. And he leans in real close. He says, it's possible they're with the Verbena. I don't know exactly what relations are like between you and they these days, but, just be careful. God knows what they're cooking up.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for the warning.
And then he sits back down, and he grabs a cup of coffee, drinks it, spits it out. So this is disgusting. And goes over and starts making himself a new pot.
Okay. Well, I will try and herd the cowering Jonathan out of the office.
I'm heading out. Don't worry about me. I'm heading out.
As you leave, he points at you. He says, "Get those pics."
And I will nod. I will nod back at him.
All right.
Oh boy. This is nothing like, my time at Cambridge with the intellectuals.
All right.
How I miss those days.
Scotty's an intellectual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So they're holding something outside the city, probably in that northern area.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So let's investigate.
Yeah. So, well, let's go talk to Lieutenant Brick first, since we're here in town.
All right. Okay. So,
no objection.
You head over to
Rourke
the.
may not be dead, is what I'm gathering from this.
It seems like people who are dead usually aren't leading cults. That you know of.
But it is interesting that I'm hearing that name again. Anyway.
All right. So you head over to the police department, and when you arrive, it's in one of the worst areas of Chicago, so it is absolutely, like, jam-packed. You head in, and it looks like episode of Hill Street Blues is going on. They're like cops wrestling with suspects. There are like people running around yelling at each other. The phones are ringing all the time. It's basically just chaos in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I will,
There is a desk sergeant on duty who's watching you as you come in.
Yes, and I'm concerned about Ryan. I may have Terry.
Slaughtering everyone in the police station, yeah.
Yeah, I may have Terry keep him
Yeah.
secluded.
Don't laugh at that, David.
And then I can go up and ask for Lieutenant Brick from the desk sergeant.
Alright. So yeah, Terry and Derek, since he's still not here, will take Ryan outside unless, Ryan wants to put up a fight about it.
No, I don't want to go in there if I don't have to.
Alright, makes sense. Yeah, so they'll kind of lead you gently outside for a smoke. And the dream team
Stephen,
approach
on and on.
Lieutenant Brick.
Now I do look over at Jonathan to make sure he's not going to embarrass me again.
No, he's
Fuck
fine
off.
now.
But well,
I don't think you need any help with that,
so
Stephen.
he entered the room before that he suddenly went weird on me. So as we enter the police station, I do glance over to make sure he's still normal.
Yeah.
What?
And I will shake my head and go to the desk sergeant.
Don't patronize me, Stephen.
That nerd was scary. Alright.
And to see Lieutenant Brick.
Alright. So the desk sergeant, he's busy, he's got like other phones, he's writing things down, he's like, yeah, what do you want to see him about?
A case that he's working on.
Which one?
The one that I'm interested in.
He kind of looks
I
up
do
at...
not wish to divulge my private information to you.
He looks up, and he kind of examines you.
Should I try to make him a bit more agreeable?
Are you going to be
You're
a hot
welcome.
man at him?
I could use entrancement.
Alright. Do you want to do that?
Should I? I'm asking Stephen.
Well, I hope you're not actually asking.
Not
Well,
in
not
character.
in-
No, I'm asking. I'm not going in. I'm not in character looking at you and going, "Hey, should I make him a bit more agreeable?"
And
Oh my god.
No, that's when you then turn to the guy and wink at him as you're using entrancement. You're like, hey.
so you are more than welcome to use your powers however you wish.
Okay, I'll attempt to use entrancement. I'm saying
Alright.
you can spell it time, can't you?
I think that's charisma plus empathy.
I believe so, and that's 7 specialty.
Okay. Alright. So he kind of looks up at you, and, he kind of starts to put down the phone and the pencil. And you're just kind of like, you have really pretty eyes.
Thank you.
And then he's just kind of like lost for a minute, and then he's like,
Okay, so I'm going to clear my throat again.
yeah, Lieutenant Brick, he's back there, and he points to an office with, Lieutenant Brick painted on it.
Alright.
Right then,
Oh,
there
what
we
a
go.
evening it has been.
It worked, Stephen.
It's literally what he's good at.
Apparently you like a man in uniform better than a newspaper reporter, but okay. We'll,
I didn't realize you were so prejudiced.
It's really, he's just sort of shaking his head. Okay.
The
So
ways of Clan Toreador are mysterious and...
Are mysterious indeed.
I didn't realize you were so prejudiced, Stephen.
Oh, I say none of this out loud. This is all in my head.
Okay. I can tell you're shaking your head, though. You do that constantly.
Yes. Anyway, so I will head into Lieutenant Brick's office, apparently. Again, I will glance over because I have no idea how Jonathan's going to behave on this one.
Cut
So
that
I
out,
do
Stephen.
keep casting the responsibility.
All right. So the two of you, once again, the dream team enters, just kind of shooting glances at one another.
Yeah, I never know. I
And
never know.
Lieutenant Brick is like, excuse me, who are you?
So again, I will walk up, offer my hand, Dr. Stephen Higgins.
All right, he'll take it and shake it. And you?
I'll do the same. Jonathan Weiss, a pleasure.
He says, Jonathan Weiss. It sounds familiar. Anyway, sit down.
I do so.
Lieutenant Brick, I understand that you are the officer handling the satanic cult case. Is that correct?
Where exactly did you hear about that?
From a reporter named Scotty Cartwright.
Oh God, you're not from the Tell It All, are you?
Oh, no, don't worry
What are
about
you a
that.
doctor of exactly? Voodoo or alien studies or...
Biochemistry.
Oh.
So I am actually quite interested in, first, I wish to verify that there was something found
Mm-hmm.
during the raid.
Well, I can't discuss the details of an ongoing investigation, of course.
Of course.
And transplant again.
Alright? So,
7 specialty.
7 specialty, alright. Have you perhaps noticed how hot I am, though?
That's not how that power works. It doesn't even use appearance.
Jonathan's over there striking poses, looking demurely.
I'm just like, excuse me while I stretch for a moment here. You were saying?
No, it's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You're just tearing off your shirt, flexing here in the office. With one strength.
Look at this.
So he also, once again, he also kind of looks over at you as you start to talk, and he seems to just kind of get lost for me. He says, you know, you have really pretty eyes.
Thank you.
Has anyone ever told you that before?
Did you actually ask me that?
Yeah, he does.
No, not at all.
Anyway, what were you, asking?
Right, Stephen.
Well, you have his attention. I'm going to let you take this.
All right, then. We'd like some more information about that case you were working on. I understand it's a bit of a touchy subject, but we'd really appreciate your help.
Well, it's basically over with anyway. So I don't think there's, too much harm in talking about it. It was just sort of a raid. We got reports that some cult was heading up there. They had some kind of weird satanic rituals going on. Not, of course, that the Chicago Police Department has any intention of discriminating against the rights of the Satanic Church, you understand. But these were violating the law in their practice of their religion, which we can't allow.
I see.
So,
Is there anything else you want to know, Stephen?
So, yes, I do want to know if there was any sort of animal or something found during their raid.
You wouldn't happen to have come across some kind of animal or other weird beast during this raid, would you?
he says, well, there was this one really weird thing that we found in the basement. That's what the reporter kind of turned into this whole bloodless animal man thing. Really, it didn't look like too much of an animal. It was just a weird, bloodless body. It seemed to be made of stone, almost. We weren't sure even if it was a body or if it was some sort of bizarre sculpture, really. Anyway, I sent in a report about it, and then a little while later, this guy, FBI agent William Shepard, shows up and, takes into custody.
I see.
He said he was getting it transferred to some sort of medical specialist for a investigation to find out exactly what it was. So he had us ship it over there.
Huh. Anything else you want to know, or are we done here?
So does he have the address of where it was shipped?
You wouldn't happen to know where exactly it was taken, would you?
Well, I don't have it, but I could, call and get the address if you wanted.
I would really appreciate that, thank you.
He says it's really no problem, and he kind of giggles to himself as he dials the phone.
Look, I'm doing a good job here, it's working.
You're doing a very good job, actually.
Yeah, petulantly. That's brilliant.
Too good a job.
This is the best
I'm
you've ever
waiting for
performed.
you guys to zip your clothes off and go at it on the desk. Good lord.
Alright. So yeah, he basically gets the address for you, and he says, why don't I... He kind of looks around for pen and paper for a minute, and then he's like, well, why don't you just give me your number, and then I can, text it to you.
I assume I have a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Right. Shit, I don't think I actually want to give him my number. No, that they could trace that back to me
Yeah.
and find out we took information. That's the problem.
That's why.
Fuck you, you know that's why. Boy.
Steven's just enjoying this at this point.
Shut up, Stephen. I'm doing my job here.
You see a smirk on Steven's face. That is just, yeah.
Unfortunately, my cell phone's being repaired at the moment, so I don't think that could work.
He says, alright, and then he, you're a writer, aren't you? I assume you probably keep a pad and pencil on you if you want to offer them.
Yeah, I'll offer him a notebook. I assume I have one.
Yeah, I mean, I figure a writer probably has something
Yeah.
on in case you come up with some idea.
Yeah, so I'll take it and flip it to an empty page, give him the pen.
Alright,
Here you go, you can write it down here.
He writes it down for you and then says, alright, well, if you ever, need anything else, you just, come back here,
Because his phone number
course.
is on that. He's on that as well, right? He does jot down his number, right?
We'll assume as much, yeah.
He's not quite that presumptuous. He's like, you ever need anything, I'm always happy to, protect
Oh,
and serve.
come on,
the
please officer,
citizens.
they're like, here's my card if you come up with any other information.
Yeah, alright, yeah, he'll hand you his card as well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the help.
And this is my personal number, my cell phone number.
Here's my email.
Fax machine, my...
Oh, my
Home
fax
address.
machine inside my car.
This is my car phone.
My car plate.
This is a GeoCities account I used to run in 1999. But you can still post a message there.
Here's my Club Penguin account.
Alright,
Now that just makes it creepy.
alright. So,
Are you into LARPing, perhaps? No, okay, I think we're done here. Please tell me we're done here.
yes, you're done here.
Right, then I will excuse myself and again thank him profusely for his help and then heading out.
Alright.
Right then, once you're outside, Stephen, you don't ever talk about that to anyone.
You say that once you get outside, is it?
As soon as I'm outside.
Okay, well then we're outside, so we hear this.
No, you're not straight outside. You asshole.
Tell us about what? Tell us about what?
Jonathan apparently has a wide interest.
Oh, sure, we knew that already.
Yes.
So does Ryan by that mean that he just assumed that Jonathan was bisexual, or that he
Well,
really
I mean, with the
innocently believes,
transvestites and then the Alicia thing.
or he just very innocently believes that Jonathan just has a wide range of interests because he's a writer and he needs to know a lot of things?
No, I think he's a sexual deviant.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay, what do you mean deviant? I haven't done anything deviant yet.
I literally saw you go into the bathroom with a transvestite. Like,
That's
I
not
saw
deviant.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean, whoa, David. That's pretty, regressive there.
I mean, deal would be if I went in there with a girl.
Yeah.
Ryan is a very conservative person, all right? When it comes to sex, it's missionary style with girls, that's it.
All right.
In fairness, the Unionist Party in Northern Ireland is quite infamously conservative by our standards over here.
All right. Well, okay then. All's forgiven.
All righty.
So are you guys going to head to the medical expert?
I guess it's pretty late.
You
I'm
guys,
just being a...
you guys don't have that. You guys have plenty of time left in the night if you want to.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm always kind of surprised that these places are still open, but, you know.
Well, the police station is open all the time, and the tabloid
Right.
is, a tabloid.
But then if this is like an FBI...
This is, from the looks of, this isn't an actual, like, there's no, like, company name on here. Like, you should know, like, medical experts has some sort of...
Okay, so I'm
company.
thinking this guy wasn't actually the FBI, it was some other...
Actually, if you're going back out and consulting with everyone else, then Derek can say that, if you remember his prelude, he kind of lays out the basics of his prelude for you guys.
Oh, okay.
The FBI agent
No.
that talked to him, that is the guy.
William Shepard.
William
Okay,
Shepard.
so he recognizes that name. All right, so now he's probably not really an FBI agent, is what Stephen is thinking. And so, yes, so we probably should go to this address and get a look at this guy.
Alright. In that case, as you're traveling, we will switch back over to ghoul characters.
All right, I could use a break from Jonathan for now.
Why? You did... You were using your powers, and you did it in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Got men to fall in love with you.
And,
It worked. We got results.
it did work.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, it did.
So, at the auction, we're switching over to your much better character, Miles, Derek.
Now, is that in quotations here?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
What, Miles?
he is better.
Alright, so at the auction, it's taking place at a small shop just off Piccadilly Square. And, as you're heading through, it was kind of a nice day earlier, but now as you're heading in, and it's kind of turning into afternoon, the fog is coming in pretty thick. And, yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be dark fairly soon. Possibly by the time you get back. So,
Okay.
you head inside, and it's a very handsome world sort of atmosphere.
Excuse me.
You got wooden floors, dark interiors, things like that.
Okay.
So there was kind of a small lunch, but you guys kind of missed that based on when you had to fly in. So they're just finishing up their meal, and they're getting ready to start the auction itself. And there are reserved seats for both of you. Well, for a number of members of your party. They know exactly who was going to show up.
Okay. Do I get my paddle?
Yeah.
Or whatever the number is?
Yep.
I can...
It is a very, like, classic, if you ever seen, like, a movie set in, like, old-timey's times, where they're doing some sort of auction, it looks exactly like this. It's a very Victorian era. So, as you guys are sitting down, you've got one item that was circled on your pamphlet, which is the Journal of a Admiral Turney.
Okay.
So they go through a number of items, and after about 40 minutes or so, your journal comes up.
All right.
So it is beginning at £2,000 sterling.
Okay. Anybody?
That's
Going
the
who-
opening bid. It doesn't look like anyone is particularly interested right now.
I don't want to look too like anxious or whatever, so I'll wait a couple of beats. And,
Okay. If
Yeah,
no
I'll
one
see.
bids immediately, then they reduce it down to £1,500 sterling.
Okay.
All right. If you don't do anything, then one of the men there will hold up a paddle. It says, "All right, 1,500 pounds."
3,000.
Yeah. Julian.
The very anxious financial guy.
Uh-huh.
So
So we're not going to go 3,000. We're gonna say 1,600.
All right. 17.
Okay. So I'll go 18.
All right. So then another guy comes up and goes 19.
What I wish to avoid. So I'll do the 2,000, I guess.
Okay. And then third guy will go 2,500, and then fourth immediately goes 3.
Okay. So I'll do 35.
All right. 40, 50, 60. No, wait, not 40, 50, 60, but what
4,
I said,
5,
4, 5,
6.
6. My bad. It went up a lot. Holy shit.
I was like going, well, crap, I don't have enough for that.
We can just murder them afterwards. Don't worry about that.
Is what we're at right now, is what you're saying.
Yes.
6,000.
6,000.
Okay, so I'll do 65.
Okay. So one guy just goes 8,000, and he looks very smug around it. Everyone else around him.
Okay. No other activity.
Yeah,
I
it
would
looks
go-
like all the people around him are... They look like they're done. Actually, if you look at them, they're all wearing sort of old-style, like the formal dress uniforms for, like, retired British Navy. So it looks like they're... And they're all old guys, too, so it looks like they might be, like, from the
Like
Admiralty or
friends of
something.
Admiral Horney or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I will raise, say 10.
Alright. So at this, the guy kind of looks over you a little bit crestfallen, and he says, it's going, and then the last guy, a new guy, rather, holds up a paddle and then says, 30,000. And he actually does say 30 this time.
So 30. So we've gone from 10 to 30.
Yes.
I'm going to look at Julian.
31.
Who obviously wants me to bid higher.
Do you go for 31? Rourke has the paddle, but I imagine Julian, like, wrestling the arm up.
I mean, obviously we can't disappoint Loden.
No.
So yes, I will have to go for 31.
Alright.
Okay, hold on. Is the guy making eye contact with us by any
Oh yeah,
chance?
he looked right over at you when you looked over at him, and you made absolute eye contact.
Nice.
Do it again, so I don't say so?
You're not looking right into his eyes. You guys looked at each other, but you're, like, across the room. I guess the eye contact probably would be sufficient, but you can't talk to him. You can't issue orders.
Yeah, but I could shout, "Give up!" as if I was taunting. But like,
Yeah, that would call attention to us. That would be...
That seems, yeah.
I'm going to probably say no, don't do that.
Control yourself, Julian.
pussy.
Oh.
Do
Anyway, so I will do the 31.
Okay. Actually, I have a picture of the guy here. Let me put that up.
That's an ugly mug.
Yeah. Well,
I bet you only his mother loves that face.
He's got like a sweet mullet going on. I love it.
Mm. Oh no, this guy's better looking. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, it took a while for the picture to change. Anyway,
No,
so...
those are the flashback characters.
Um,
It was probably Derek that you were talking about.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, then definitely.
so there's this guy. So and it's still daytime. So I know none of these guys are kindred,
No.
right? Okay. All right.
So what number did you enter a bet?
So I was at 31.
All right.
Does anyone have Auspex?
I do not.
Oh no, we wouldn't have level 2 ever. Never mind. Ignore me.
All right. So he raises his paddle once more and says, 50,000 pounds.
I'm gonna give Julian a look. Like,
60.
do we dare go this high?
He just said 60, so yeah.
So
Apparently you do.
apparently Julian, the financial guy, has given me leave. You know it's all going to be coming down to you, right? All right, so I will glance across the room and raise my paddle for 60.
All right. So the guy kind of looks at you and smiles, and then he just kind of shrugs, and the bet goes on. You know, going, gone. And
He's going to kill me.
you've got it.
All right.
Just a mere 60,000 pounds for a 2,000-pound book.
I was hoping.
Could've got it for
I was
1,500.
hoping to get him to keep going higher, and then we would give up and do that to him.
But nope.
But no
So yeah, the
idea why Loden wanted this journal.
auction is going to go on for a little while. You don't have to stay for the rest of it. The things will be handed out the next day. They're going to
Okay.
be basically shipped
Come
here.
back, money.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, so that's when you'll bring the money there.
Okay.
Yeah, so the auction is going to go on, and there's going to be a small reception afterwards, but you don't have to stay for it if you don't want to.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of interested to meet this guy.
Yeah, he's staying.
So maybe I'll hang out,
Okay.
try and see if I can figure out who he is.
Alright, so you guys are staying there. We're going to
Sure.
switch over to the people back in the hotel. So what exactly are you guys doing in this hotel room?
Keating watch, probably.
Natasha's gone to the bedroom and made sure it is as light proof as possible.
Oh, well, would you like me to join you?
No, that'll be fine.
Alright, so
Yeah, I'm keeping watch.
Alright, so you're in the bedroom, kind of making sure it's all light-proof. Derek, you're just kind of out in the front room, you know, keeping watch on the, that's where the front door comes in. So you're right there when all of a sudden you hear a slam against the front door.
Our front door?
Yes.
Alright then, I'll dive to cover behind the couch and I'll grab my gun.
Alright. And, yeah, from inside the bedroom, it's pretty obvious that there's, like, banging from the front area.
She pulls out her handgun and takes a defensive position by the door.
Okay. So you guys set up, and there is another slam, and, like, the door just basically collapses in on itself. It looks like an incredible amount of force has been put behind it. Like, it actually comes off the hinges. And I actually have a picture for this guy as well. Standing
Yeah, I'm
on
trying
the
to stay completely concealed, by the way. Just like
Alright.
peeking out.
Alright. In that case, if you tried to, like, hide yourself, give me a, wits plus stealth.
Wits plus stealth. 5.
Okay.
6.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys get into pretty concealed positions in what time you have. So you see this guy on the other side as the door just goes flying in, and he starts basically striding into the room. And he doesn't seem to immediately know where you are.
She's going to put a round in his bullet in his cranium and spending a willpower to do so.
Alright, so dexterity plus firearms.
That is going to be 8 dice.
Okay. And then I'll look up the traits for a handgun.
Well, it depends on if it doesn't say what she has, but I would assume she'd have a heavy handgun, which would be hold on, let me grab my book.
All right, I'll let you look that up.
Not with humanity. Here we go. Uh, 6 damage.
Okay. All right. All right. So you open fire, and you feel like you've got, and you're aiming at his head, yeah?
Mm-hmm. That's the reason I spent the willpower.
Okay. Yeah. So you feel like you've got a really clean shot on this guy's noggin, and it like hits him like directly in the forehead, and so his head kind of goes back stunned, and then it comes forward again. And like some kind of horror movie, he like reaches up, scratches his forehead, and you can see him take out like the smashed remains of the bullet and just kind of flick it to the side. In an instant, he is rushing over towards where you are.
I'm gonna spend a point for one of the 2 blood points for celerity
Okay.
for the extra action, and then with the heavy gun, you can shoot twice in a turn.
All right.
And gonna put 2 more into his dome. Spending willpower on the first one.
All right. And what was your dex plus firearms again?
8 hip shot as a specialty.
Okay. And Derek, are you doing anything as this is going on, or are you just going to let her handle it, basically? You are still hidden at this point.
Yeah, I think I will. I think it's sort of my duty to do so.
Alright.
Dex plus firearms, right?
Yep. Which is?
8 specialty and being steady.
Okay. It's a lot of dice to roll. Alright, so this guy basically rushes forwards. You guys just start pouring fire into him. And he seems to be shrugging off the bullets for the most part. He runs forward, grabs it Natasha, and then he seems to change his mind, throw her down, and then just run back out of the room. And you notice that as he's running away, he does seem to be bleeding from a couple of spots. It looks like you did begin to injure him. But he still runs out of there, like, instantly. And as someone who has celerity, yeah, you can tell he's definitely using celerity.
Okay.
Or some equivalent.
While this guy's running away, she's gonna drop the magazine out and swap in another one.
Alright. Yeah, so he leaves, and, Derek, do you want to try and follow him, or are you going to let him just run?
I don't think I can catch up, can I? I don't have celerity,
I mean,
do
you
I?
can try, but
No, I
he
don't.
does seem to be running very fast. Alright.
I hired out I could, so I'm going to let him go.
So in that case, you do hear... Oh, you kind of wait for, something to come at you, but there doesn't seem to be anything, and then a few moments you hear, like, other people basically coming out of their rooms to see what the hell happened. And I will remind you guys, guns are, it's basically illegal for you to have these firearms in England, and you do hear some people overhearing that they're going to call the police.
That's the reason I was asking about the forged documents at the beginning.
Yeah. So you've got
Because-
stuff. Yeah.
Despite their legalities, you can actually own them under specific purposes.
Yeah, so you do have the things, if you want to trust to the forged documents, then you can do that, yeah. I'm just making sure you guys are aware of the possible problems.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Also explaining how your door got busted open.
No, I have an excuse for that.
All right. So you two have a couple of minutes to consult with each other as the police come, but eventually the cops arrive, and they kind of walk in. They see the door ripped off the hinges. They look at the two of you, and then down at the door, and then go, "Are you the people staying here?"
Yes, we are, officer.
All right. He kind of steps over the door. And,
My name's Natasha, and I do private security. We were in our room when, out of nowhere, 3 men, 2 busted in the door and began to run away, and a third entered into the room. They caught us off guard. We tried to shoot them in their legs. The moment we pulled out our firearms and fired off the first volley, they fled out the door.
All right. So they kind of look at each other and start writing this down. And second here. Why don't you give me an intelligence plus law to see how well you explain this, how well you kind of dodge around the tricky issues.
That is going to be 5.
Alright. Yeah, so they seem kind of pretty impressed with, how professionally you're explaining all this. And they basically do ask for, your identification and everything like that. But they don't look over the documents too carefully. And they do hand them back to you without saying that there seems to be a problem.
And on the safe side, she kept them in her front jacket pocket, not on the inner coat pocket.
All right. Just in case.
Just in case. I know this isn't America.
All right. So yeah, they'll take they take your statement, and they take Derek's as well, and they look around the room a little bit, but once again you have pretty ready explanations for everything. They do kind of wonder a little bit at the giant trunk that you have.
But no explanation is forthcoming, so...
Now, the giant trunk, that is how we prefer to travel. Sometimes we like to pick up mementos when we travel around. So we bring the trunk, that way we have a steady place to put all the things we pick up, trinkets, souvenirs.
The guy, one of the police officers kind of nods and says, "Oh, I see. When you said travel with, I thought travel in the trunk. That's ridiculous." And then he and his partner laugh.
Oh, no, not at all.
And
we once went to India, and we picked up about 20 pounds of fabric. They had the most beautiful silk you'll ever come across down there. And that's when we got the first trunk, because our bags didn't have enough space to put in 3 bolts of good quality silk. So now when we travel, we take the trunk with us.
I see. And he kind of nods, and yeah. He'll basically they'll just keep going around the place. They're there for obviously a little while, investigating.
And she'll actually have a very polite and friendly face on with them. She's
Eric
smiling.
Is absolutely shocked. He's never seen her like this.
Hey, I don't need to have subterfuge to push the girls up.
Alright. So yeah, they eventually leave without any issue. So this is, we'll go back to the auction. So as you guys are there, kind of waiting for everything to break up, eventually it does, and everyone starts to file out. And the guy kind of starts to walk away. The guy who was bidding against you.
Did he bid on anything else?
No, he did not.
All right. So he's not going to the reception?
It doesn't seem like it.
I don't know if I can just walk up and talk to him. Is there anybody else that appears to know him in any way?
No. He's not really, like, rushing out. He is... he might be staying for part of the reception. He is kind of milling around the lobby, just kind of talking to a couple of people politely, but it doesn't look like he came with anyone or is good friends with anyone. He's just kind of making some chit-chat.
He was walking toward the door,
No.
and I would have to, like, run up and go, wait, I want to know who you are. If he's milling around talking to people, then I will just, nonchalantly say, so, you also had interest in the journal.
Yeah.
Good auctioning.
He nods. He nods and says, yes, I did. What is, your name?
Rourke, because I only have one name.
Rourke. It's like Cher.
Yeah, something, I don't know, feel kind of weird saying that, but anyway, Rourke is my name. I didn't catch yours.
Says, my name is Mr. Quinn, Mr. Heath Quinn.
Mr. Heath Quinn. Okay.
Says, what do you know exactly of the Admiral?
Not much. I am actually a purchaser for an interested buyer.
I see. And who is this interested buyer, Mr. Rourke?
And I will smile at him and say, I cannot divulge. It would not be professional to divulge such information.
Of course not, Mr. Rourke. It would be most unfortunate if you were to displease the client.
So, what could you tell me about the Admiral?
Oh, I am also a representative of a interested buyer.
Let's see.
But of course, I had a certain limit placed on how much I could utilize, which it seems you did not.
Or possibly my limit was simply higher.
Quite possible indeed, Mr. Rourke.
All right. Is this guy as slimy as he sounds?
He seems to have an accent like a supervillain, yeah.
Because I really am just starting to feel greasy and oily talking to this guy. All right. So, anyway. Yeah.
So he's just kind of coldly appraising you at this point.
So, okay. I have no idea what. I have no idea. I'm just sort of like, okay. So okay. I have no idea why anybody would want this journal.
Well, after a significant period of just kind of looking at you and kind of smiling, he says, well, I'm afraid I must be going now, Mr. Rourke.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
I hope we meet each other again, but this next time, perhaps we will not be at cross purposes.
Yeah.
And he kind of daintily turns around and then leaves the building.
Okay. So are any of the old, military guys?
They're all staying for the reception.
Okay. Can I talk to them and see if they know anything about this journal?
Yeah. Give me a charisma plus etiquette.
That's going to be a huge roll, I can tell. Oh my gosh, I don't suppose street etiquette applies?
Yo, homie, what up with the Admiral?
So, charisma plus etiquette, surprisingly, is a 7, but I don't think street applies.
Rourke is a man of the streets. Yeah, so you kind of politely, engage yourself with them. And you guys speak with each other. None of them really knew too much about Attorney. They never really met him exactly, but he was kind of a famous naval figure, and then in the end he went a little bit eccentric, as British people do. And he, started hanging out with, sort of weird, like, occultist groups, things like that.
And this journal from his naval period or from his later?
It's unclear exactly. Obviously, we, were hoping that it would be of his, some of his naval exploits.
Right. Yes. Well, thank you very much for your time. I will gather Julian and we will head back to the apartment, and I will break the bad news to Loden.
Alright.
And I spent $60,000 for him.
So yeah, you guys get back right around the time that the police are leaving. They have made arrangements for you guys, the hotel's made arrangements for you guys to be moved into another empty room on this floor, since the door is not there anymore. So yeah, the two of you arrive just as, Natasha and Derek are supervising the removal of the trunk.
So I will walk up to Natasha and expect a report.
Some guy tried to break into the apartment.
And our cargo?
Safe and sound.
Okay.
Did we acquire the book?
Yes, we did.
There's a pause there.
Yes, we did.
Well, once we get settled into their new room, I'm sure we'll get an explanation. What time is it?
It is nearly night at this point.
Okay.
All right, so again, I'm going to think we need to check out this new room thoroughly, because this may have been...
You should have been doing that during the rest of the...
6, was it?
Maybe this may have been...
6, yes.
Yep, alright. Yes, you do not find... And if Curry wants to double-check your work, but you do not find anything suspicious.
I will.
7, because 7 is better than 6.
Nope, nothing there.
All right.
Alright, so yeah, after a little while, you get everything settled in, and this is where we will switch back over to vampire characters.
Alright.
Back to Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to everything else with this Agent Shepard, Derek also has his card, which does contain, like, his cell phone number and things like that.
I was like, what? How is Derek the pilot in our... Then it's Derek.
Derek.
Other. Okay.
Gangrel
Like,
Derek.
wait. Gangrel Derek. Okay. So Derek's kept his card the whole time.
Well, he didn't necessarily keep it. He just, like, found it in his pocket. He's like, as you started talking about Agent Shepard, these are the clothes he died in. When,
So he just hasn't changed clothes in the month or so.
It hasn't been a month. Like, remember, this is New Year's
that's right,
Eve.
because he woke up and... Okay, so these are... Okay, got it.
It's been, like, one day, and he hasn't been able to go back to his apartment.
Okay. Alrighty. So, we have the address for William Shepard, where the medical specialist is.
You don't have his address. You have his phone number, but you've got the address for the medical specialist.
Okay. So, I guess we head over there.
Okay. So yeah, as you arrive, you find that it is basically a big warehouse out near the docks. And it doesn't look like a medical specialist's office.
Oh, doesn't it? Looks like a big warehouse out on the docks.
And there are lights up on the top floor, but there's nothing on the bottom levels.
I see. That's where we used the cocaine before to find the laser net. All right, well, I guess we go check it out.
Okay.
Works for me.
So, as you guys head around, you find that the doors seem to be locked.
Okay.
But then do I immediately notice anything off about the building with aspects?
You do not. It looks pretty normal, although Derek actually peeks his head through one of the windows, and with his protean discipline, he tells you that it does look like there are laser beams, like invisible lasers, going across all over on the first floor.
Huh. You probably made them visible using some kind of powder.
Or smoke.
That too. Do you have any cigarettes?
Well, what is interesting to me is why would
Yes,
this
Ryan.
warehouse
Cigarettes.
have such an elaborate security system?
It does seem suspicious, yes.
That seems more suspicious to me. Huh. Interesting. So, first of all, we should probably... I believe Ryan has lockpicks.
I do. I've also got cigarettes.
Alright. You gonna Dex plus security this up?
Seven.
Alright. Okay. Alright. So, you spend a little while, it's kind of hard at first, but once you get into the swing of it, you pop a door right open.
All right.
Nice.
So, and I'm assuming it's just all dark.
Yeah, pretty much. Jonathan can make everything out pretty well with his auspex, but you guys would, the rest of you...
Okay, I'm going to have probably... So between the cigarettes and the cocaine or whatever we have Derek and Jonathan go in first, so they have the best senses.
Yeah. So hand me some cigarettes and I'll try to light up and show them where them are.
And then Ryan and I can up the rear.
Alright.
Try not to trip any of the laser beams.
Alright, so you all get out your cigarettes, start smoking, blowing it into the room, and it does start to illuminate the lasers.
There's actually lasers.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, which seems odd in a warehouse.
They're
down
not
at the
like
dock.
science fiction lasers that, like, burn you or, like, cut you in half. They are, like, security lasers.
Right, we just don't want to interrupt the beam. Alrighty, so anyway, so the reason Jonathan and Derek are going forward is because they're obviously going to be able to figure out how to get up to the levels since it's dark and I don't know where the stairs are.
Alright, yeah, you're able to get through them with no problem getting to the other side, if once you can see the lasers.
Okay.
But the rest of you, or like Ryan and... is Terry coming with you?
Yes, I guess.
Do you want to, like, light flashlights in order to see where you're going, or are you just going to try and risk it in the dark?
I should probably have a flashlight.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, in that case, you guys are able to make it through no problem as well.
Cool.
And...
Alright, yeah.
Also, Jonathan, you are noticing as you are moving through that something in here smells like gasoline. This building basically reeks of it.
Alright, then I'll put my cigarette out immediately. And I'll like on my hand or whatever, don't care about the pain. And I'll call out to the others that there is probably gasoline in here.
Alright.
So be careful with fire.
It is fire, so if you do put it out, you're going to cause yourself, like, aggravated damage.
I have a shirt.
Alright, in that case, yeah.
It's a cigarette butt. Come on.
I thought you were going to, like, do it on your hand to try and be cool.
Does it on a tongue.
Another thing going to cost me aggravated damage now.
Alright.
Very damage from a cigarette butt.
Yeah. So you inform the others not to try and be cool and, like, flick your cigarette away as you're walking.
Yeah, save that for when we're leaving. No evidence, remember?
Alright. Well, if we just set the building on fire, that'll create plenty of smoke to see the lasers.
Then we can see the lasers, exactly.
Alright, so heading up to the next floor, you can see... is anyone going ahead of the others, or are you all going as a group?
But is it still dark? I mean, are we going up to the lighted area?
Yes, you're heading up into the lighted area now.
Okay.
That's the thing we should have sent someone up first, scout, just to check out. Which would probably be me, because of all specs.
Okay, how stealthy is Ryan?
Ryan's stealthy as fuck.
Can Ryan handle this?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have control of yourself, David?
Yeah.
Is your curiosity overcoming your phobias?
I don't know. Storyteller. What do you think?
You'll probably be able to handle it. I mean, if there's basically you're at increased risk of frenzy if something comes up, but you're not going to just like go crazy for no reason.
Let's do this.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right behind you.
All right. So are you going invisible?
You should.
I assumed that's what stealthy as fuck meant.
He's gone invisible. David's gone
Well,
now.
he's being silent because...
That's how
He's
stealthy
very
he
stealthy.
is.
It is 7.
I said, are you using obfuscate?
Obviously.
Okay. In that case, I'm not gonna... You don't need to do a stealth roll. You just pop up there, and you can see there is a guy... who is sitting there working at a computer, and he has, there is a big slab nearby with a big body on it. And there is some kind of device hooked up to it which is shining light on the body. It doesn't look like regular light, it looks like kind of purpley.
Huh. How do I get a better look at it?
Yeah. You want to get closer. What exactly are you examining?
What's the source of the light?
It's a big, it's like it's coming from a regular light, like a light bulb. But the light coming off it is purple.
Uh-huh. Okay, what's it shining on? Anything in
The
particular?
body.
Oh shit! All right, let's check the body.
Alright. So you, kind of creep forward. You want to, like... It's wearing, like, some pants and things like that. Do you want to, like, search through for anything? Otherwise, it's just, like, a body.
Obviously, we might have a wallet.
Alright. Yeah. Okay.
Thievery is always on Ryan's one.
Okay, let me see exactly what he has. I'm gonna send it to you as like a kind of secret message since no one else is up there yet. Alright, so I sent you the stuff you find.
Anything else in the room?
Just the guy who's there with you. He's got he does have a like a crossbow basically set up nearby, which seems to be his weapon of choice.
And I presume he's like aiming at the doorway or something, waiting for
He doesn't seem.
knock.
He's still working on his computer. He doesn't seem to know that anyone is there yet.
Ah, what a scrub! All right, just fucking kill him.
Okay.
I got my staff, right?
Yeah. Give
Bash
me.
his head.
He's basically completely unaware. So if you want to just like choke him out with it, basically.
Nah, bash his head.
All right. Dexterity plus melee.
8 specialty.
Okay. Alright, and then it's, I think, strength plus 3 for a quarterstaff.
6.
Alright. Alright. So yeah, you, like, whack him in the back of the head, and he is just, like, completely out of nowhere. He crashes forward into the desk and then hits the ground. He is basically disabled at this point. He notices that you're there, and he starts trying to reach up for his crossbow, but he's been basically knocked down, and he's too dazed to get up, so he can't reach it.
Feast on his blood.
Alright.
Well, I'll put him out. I'll put him out first.
Alright. Yeah, he is in basically no position to resist you. I think his wound penalties are so high, I don't think he has any dice.
Yeah, but I'll kill him quickly.
Alright, yeah. So
Wanna
yeah,
be merciful.
you put him out, and you're able to get up to basically all of his blood. Enough that you
Cool.
can get to max.
Cool.
So yeah, you guys are downstairs when you hear kind of a ruckus from upstairs, and you come up to find... Well, do you go up?
Yes.
Carefully.
In that case, you come up to find Ryan basically feasting on this guy's blood. And you also see basically what I described before. There's a body on the table with a big...
Hey, you guys want some?
I'm still like ducking down and being careful, looking around with aspects.
Okay.
Hunter's dead.
Interesting.
What exactly do you want to... Is there anything in particular you want to examine in the room, Miles? Or is it just...
Nothing in particular right now, just if there's anything that stands out.
Okay. What is your perception plus alertness?
That would be 4.
Okay. Yeah, definitely the most interesting thing here is probably the body. Other than that, you
Right.
don't see that much that would interest you. I mean, there's a crossbow, unless you want that.
I'll probably pick it up afterwards, but not for now.
Okay.
Right, so you said there was a computer in the room?
Yes.
So can I sit down at that and see what this guy was doing?
So, give me a, wits plus computers.
5.
All the stuff is already open, it's just to see how quickly you kind of get through the information. Yeah, so you're sitting at the computer for a little while. Is there anything that the rest of you want to do in the meantime while Steven's looking through the files?
Can I inspect the body without touching it?
Alright. Yeah, so you're kind of carefully looking around it, and give me a perception plus investigation.
That is free.
Okay.
Again, using aspects.
Okay. Alright. So,
Do I sense anything in particular?
You do get actually some psychic resonance here. I'm gonna tell you basically what you get. Once again, in a secret message. Because these are fun.
Uh-huh. Miles still has the blood in his pocket too, right? Wrapped
Yes.
up in a little...
That may be why he's getting a special message.
Mm-hmm.
I assume I still can't get rid of the blood, right? I haven't even tried asking about that.
Not right now, because maybe when you're finished you can try it. Alright. So yeah, that's the
Alright.
impression that you get through your auspex. Alright, so you finish looking through the computer records, and these seem to be like basically case notes, Stephen, that are studying this body.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all sorts of investigations. He was trying different sorts of ultraviolet light. He got one of those, like, sun-mimicking lights that does the full spectrum, but according to his results, nothing has been actually affecting this vampire.
Mm-hmm. So this person is aware that this body is a vampire.
Oh yeah, this guy is clearly a hunter.
Okay. Yeah, but does he have any other... So is he just like a human hunter? That's
the impression you get looking through all these files.
just a human. And this vampire is in torpor, so I'm going to assume he's quite old, since he's not a walking, talking vampire.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Stephen? I call out.
Yes, Jonathan?
You said you were a professor or doctor of biochemistry, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a weird fungus on the body.
Mm-hmm.
Is that anything you know anything about?
Fungus, I'm not a botanist of any sort, but...
I figure since it came from a human body or a vampire, I suppose, at this point, but...
Something like that would be a perception plus science roll to acknowledge. Your chemistry probably wouldn't apply to it, but...
Okay, so I'm looking at Ryan and Jonathan. Do I notice anything weird?
What is your intelligence plus occult?
That will be 7.
they seem a little funny, but you're not sure exactly what that could be. I mean, for Ryan, he's always funny, basically. Jonathan seems a little odd, but...
He's been odd all night.
Yeah, it seemed odd when he was shying away from the reporters, so...
Yeah. Anyway, I guess I will humor them and go over take a look
okay.
at this.
That is perception plus science, then.
Right, I'll back away. Give him room.
So that is 7.
Okay. All right. So as you start leaning forward, you don't see anything, but it's at this moment that your companions shove you towards the body.
That's what I think.
At this moment, everything goes black.
Okay.
So, you guys basically come to... Well, actually... Let me see. Nope, I think it's time for a flashback. We'll let you guys wonder what you come to in the middle of.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll have to say this now for people who didn't know. But basically, when I was writing secret messages to them, to the other players, they were absolutely being dominated. And, yeah, so when they were dominated was the minute they touched the body. Ryan pushed Jonathan into it, even though he said he was specifically not touching the body, basically obfuscated, came up behind, shoved him into it, and then same thing with Steven.
Amazing what elder powers do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Alright.
Well, I'm going to assume Derek got dominated
Yeah,
with
after
us.
that point, basically, you used the blood bond to basically order Terry to touch it. And then after that, I mean, there were 4 of you. You just shoved Derek onto it. Although, memory-wise, all of your guys' memories cut out the moment that you touched the body. Alright. So... yeah, so it is the night, and Loden finally awakes up and emerges from his... case. So he gets up, stretches, and then says, "You you ran into no difficulties during my sleep, I trust."
Someone tried to...
Well, all 3 of us at once just go, well.
So I'll let Natasha give her...
Yeah, I'll hold back as well.
Okay.
A man with eyes far too close together
Mm-hmm.
kicked in the door, charged towards your room, and after putting 3 slugs in his head, and Derek shooting him in the back, he fled out the door. The police showed up, and we got rid of them fairly quickly, and that brings us up to now.
I see. Well, that is certainly troubling. Did you, he then turns to work, did you acquire the book?
I did acquire the book. It is apparently in greater demand than I originally thought. I spent considerably money than anticipated.
How much?
$60,000.
Dollars?
Yes, there was a Mr.
Actually,
Keith.
it was not dollars.
It was pounds.
Oh, was it pounds? Sorry.
So that's like $80,000, I think.
It's, yeah.
I'm going to look it up
So
right now.
there was a Mr. Heath Quinn who drove up the bidding considerably. He is also a purchaser for an unknown buyer.
I see.
It is $83,500.
Alright. So he kind of rubs his
This was
forehead.
supposed to be back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
The dollar was a lot stronger. You're probably looking at modern conversion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's more, but I don't know how much more. Suffice to say, it's a lot of money. So he's rubbing his forehead, and then says, I understand. Obviously, we will need to relocate at the first available opportunity.
The hotel's already moved us into a new room.
Yes, but I don't feel comfortable remaining someplace where my presence is obviously known. I will speak with the prince of the city about that when we meet her. Is there anything else to report?
I did speak with the Queen's representative earlier this afternoon, and you have permission to feed within the city except in the theater district.
I see. Very well. In that case, I will conduct my business here. You are not to disturb me this evening.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
Then, during the
Understood, sir.
following day, Rourke, you will go and pick up the diary on your own. I don't want to, until we can find a new haven, I wish to keep as many of you here as possible in order to make sure that nothing like this happens again.
Okay.
Alright. And then he goes and basically shoos you out of his room and starts doing whatever the hell he does when you guys aren't allowed to see him.
Okay.
As she leaves and she closes the door behind everyone, she'll look at Derek. At least we know you can shoot someone in the back.
Rourke
You know,
pours
I really gotta ask, why are you so hostile?
You are good at one thing and one thing only, we've noticed. And that's flying the plane and driving a car.
Those are two things.
Oh, you win. You're good at two things. Let's everyone clap.
Well, I mean, at least I can count.
Oh shit.
And
Alright.
Anyway,
hiding behind the couch.
Okay, so the discussion continues.
bitter and angry ghouls amongst themselves.
Alright. So the evening passes basically without difficulty. Loden does go out to feed, but you did advise him to stay away from the theater district. And he returns sometime later, again, shuts himself off in his room, doesn't meet with anyone. So the next day...
I'm going to catch a few hours of
Yeah,
sleep.
he tells you guys to basically catch some sleep, because you're going to need to be on alert all day.
Mhm.
Alright, so the next day comes around, and it's time for Rourke to leave to pick up the journal.
All right, and I've got all the money. I was able to
Yeah.
wire it. Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I shall leave.
So yeah, you turn up, and the auctioneer, it's the same guy. It's like, he's also the guy taking your money. He says, yes, it's a very fine piece, as he takes you to, the safe and takes out the journal in a brown package.
Okay.
He says, I think you will find it most illuminating.
I'm sure that I will. Thank you very much.
All right.
If I have a briefcase of some sort, I shall put the package in.
All right. So, you're leaving and heading back to your car. It's kind of in a little ways off the main part of the city, so it's fairly easy to find a parking space. You're heading nearby. It's nice and quiet, and as you're approaching the rented vehicle, there is, you feel a sudden tremendous pain, just a split second before you hear a gunshot. And you take 4 points of damage. You're not wearing any... No, it doesn't say equipment, so I'm going to assume no body armor.
Okay.
Do you have fortitude?
So, I do have fortitude.
How many?
1 dot of fortitude.
Right. Nope, still 4 damage.
Okay.
So this
that
basically
makes-
knocks you off your feet and sends you to the ground.
Okay. Do I know where the shot came from?
It obviously came from behind you, at least that's where the pain
Okay.
came from.
So can I unholster my gun?
Yeah.
Obviously. And attempt to fire back if I can find somebody.
Okay. What is your perception plus alertness?
That is 5.
Okay. So you start scanning the horizon for a little bit, and you do see a light, but unfortunately it's the light of a second gunshot. So you do know where it is, but you have been shot a second time. And you had 1 die of fortitude?
Hmm?
Okay. You take a further 3 points of damage.
So I'm just completely incapacitated.
Alright. So, you are basically fading, you're just completely out of it with this second gunshot, and you're fading in and out. And then, you kind of come to face a certain familiar gentleman. He walks
Mr.
up.
Heathcliff.
Yeah, he walks up, and he says, "Ah, Mr. Rourke. We did meet again as I suspected, but I'm afraid we are still at cross purposes." And he leans down, takes your briefcase, and opens it up, and you can see this, but you're powerless to move.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "I'm glad you chose to put this in such a secure location. Loden was concerned that your blood would get on it." And he
The
takes...
Bowden had me killed?
He takes it out of the briefcase and puts it in his pocket. Says, "I was dismayed when I saw you were with your friend. Loden said he would send you out alone at the auction, but fortunately this little opportunity presented itself. Goodbye, Mr. Rourke." And then he
I'm desperately hurt.
stamps on your head,
Great,
and you are killed.
great man Loden has had me killed. Alright, so he's bouncing over my head.
Spook too.
Alright?
Admittedly, you went way over the amount that he said to.
So...
I was just trying to please that great and wonderful man.
Alright. So, we are heading back over to Vampires now, and you guys just come out of... You have no idea what happened. But you are parked basically on the outskirts. You're parked in Gary, in the wasteland. And all of you are just in the car, looking around.
We're in Gary, so we wake up in Gary.
Yes. And you've got no idea how you got here.
Right. And the last thing we remember is in the warehouse.
Yeah,
The
you
body.
can see that you're actually outside of... most of it is just kind of like wasteland industrial area. You're in front of one actual place of business, which is kind of surprising. But it's like a U-Haul, like a place where you rent a trailer. And you guys are all sitting in your car.
Interesting.
What time is it roughly?
It is... It's very, very early evening. It seems like it's before when you blacked out, so presumably it's the next day.
Okay.
So a blood point taken off of them.
Yes. Well, actually, about that.
Oh no.
For some reason, all of you are at full blood points. Well, one less than full, because it did... But yeah, you're all at whatever one off of your maximum is.
And healthy, apparently. Interesting.
And actually,
so I will look at my cell phone. Has only 1 day passed?
Yes, only 1 day so far.
So far.
Well, days keep passing, and actually something else happens to you guys as well. Let me look that up.
Well, I meant since I blacked out. Only 1 day
Yes.
has gone by. Okay.
Alright. Give me a second. You guys get something else as well. I have to look it up.
Herpes.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much. Vampire herpes, that's pretty much what we have now.
A sort of vampire STD, I guess. It's actually a good thing, which is what's going to make you guys even more worried than if I were doing something bad to you.
Mm-hmm.
Never accept a gift from another vampire. All I'm saying.
Well, I don't know that we had a choice. I don't think there was any, voluntary acceptance involved.
All right. So, Ryan?
Yeah.
You gain 1 dot of Auspex.
Nice.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
You gain 1 dot of Celerity.
All right.
And... No, wait. Sorry, I got that wrong. Steven, you've got the Auspex. My bad.
Oh, I have the Auspex.
Ryan, you got 1 dot of Potence.
Nice.
Should I put that in quotation marks or something? If it's temporary?
No, it is a permanent addition.
Oh, that's even worse.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil anything. And by the way, I've never read this module. Just throwing that out there.
We've been through it before. We know.
Yeah, we've played it before.
Yeah, this is our second run through.
It's like a reset.
So we have inklings and remembrances of what happened.
But it's it's pretty clear that you guys drank something very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's needless to say at this point, but when Jonathan checks his pockets, the vial is still there, but it doesn't have anything in it.
Yeah. Yes, Stephen is quite aware of what has happened.
Hey, you guys got literally free dots permanently of disciplines.
So what does Derek get?
I will have to... Actually, no, it says in the adventure that there's specifically only enough for 3 people, and since Derek's not here, he's the lucky guy who gets left out. Unfortunate guy who doesn't get free disciplines with no consequences.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, there is no sign of the, the Tell-It-All called it the Bloodless Animal Man, but really, that's so unkind to the noble figure that you saw.
Yeah, he didn't look animalistic at all, right?
No, he looked handsome and chiseled.
Okay.
Kind of an ideal of beauty in sort of the Greek style, Stephen.
Mm-hmm. Well, Stephen does like his Greek book.
So, where exactly are you guys gonna head now?
Well, that's a very good question.
Do we have any more leads to follow up on? Did we finish exploring that place?
No, we went to the warehouse, blacked out, and wound up here.
So yeah, we should probably try to head back there then.
And try and figure out what happened. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Possibly we should talk to this William Shepherd guy. Maybe he knows what's going on.
All right. Derek will call him up. And basically have a what exactly do you want Derek to ask him?
Well, see, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to assume, knowing what I know about elder vampires, that the bloodless animal man is no longer at that warehouse. We have, from the fact that we are outside of the truck rental center, probably moved him somewhere because he took control of us.
Yeah, that's not an unfair guess.
Okay. So, we still have the problem of finding Loden.
Yep.
Does this elder vampire have anything to do with that? I don't know.
Yeah, all you know, well, he was found, it's weird, because he was found at the location of Rourke's cult. You know Rourke is connected with Loden because supposedly Loden said he died.
Yeah, he died getting the cult.
The cult is involved with the satanic activity outside of Chicago.
But that's up in the north, right? So maybe we should go check out, because obviously the satanic cult. Okay, so let me see. Stephen can piece this all together. He needs one of those boards, right? With like pictures on it and yarn. Okay, so there was a cult in the 7-Eleven where this elder vampire guy was.
Yeah.
And this Rourke guy was worshiping this with whoever else there. The police raided that, took the body. The William Shepherd guy posed as an FBI agent, got the body from the police, and shipped it off to the warehouse. Now, is he a hunter, or is he under the control of the enemy? You know, if that guy on the computer hadn't been killed, we might have asked him. But you know, they didn't appear to be under his.
It didn't seem like it.
They appeared to be trying to destroy the body. Was that the impression I got?
We'll experiment on it at least. It seemed more like research notes, like he was seeing what could harm vampires. That's what you got from the computer.
Okay. But then we came along, the elder vampire took control of us, and we've probably now transported the body somewhere where we don't want.
Seems like it.
So apparently the elder vampire did not want to be in the warehouse. So again, I'm going to think those
unless he
guys
did want to be in the warehouse so that you guys could come in so that he could dominate you so that you could move you.
Anyway. So, if the Rourke of the cult is the same Rourke that died getting the journal, and we don't have the journal, does Ryan have the journal?
The journal that had the Admiral Turney's journal?
Yeah.
Yes, you pocketed that.
You have that journal?
Yep.
All right, well, I want to read that journal.
Here you go.
As we head back into Chicago to try and figure out what's going on.
All right.
Be my guest.
So, let's see. Jonathan, you're the one who made contact with the Anarchs, as I recall, yeah?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. In that case, you have a message from them on your phone.
That's odd. I don't recall giving them my phone number.
Damien exchanged contact information with you guys when he let you off, but you're the guy who came to the meeting, so he contacts you.
Okay, sure.
We're going to be wondering where. I'm sure Ballard and...
yeah, he says, you guys... Well, first off, it's like, where are you? Like, there are several texts, because it's been, like, the day you were missing. It's like, where are you? And then he's like, Ballard has... They've got the sheriff back. Ballard has declared a blood hunt on all of you.
Okay.
Oh, God damn
So
it.
maybe we don't go through Chicago, but we travel around Chicago to get to this northern area.
Yeah, you can completely
Is
avoid
this...
it.
Okay, good. I obviously relayed information to the others. I wouldn't know.
Guys, blood hunt.
Yeah. So I suggest we go and try and figure out what this cult is. We'll leave the bloodless animal because we don't know what he is. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to read this journal, and is there anything about this journal?
All right, yeah. So you read through the journal, and at the very end, he mentions coming into contact with, this is when he starts to get eccentric, he says there's another group of kind of, older upper-class gentlemen in England that are part of a group known as the Arcanum. But that's the only kind of weird thing. It's mostly is from his naval period, just talking about battles and things like that. The only sort of mysterious thing he mentions is this group.
Is the Arcana. Okay. And if I Google the Arcana on my phone...
The Arcanum, yeah, you get links to the video game Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic on goodoldgames.com, but that's about it.
All right, I can't keyword it better, so there's nothing.
There is nothing like, there's no information on the group online.
That's weird. Because there should be some crackpot website somewhere.
Yeah, but that's not going to come up. I mean, that would take a very intensive Google search, and it's not approved by your firewall. It's got the red X next to it for
Oh, it has that whole thing.
Malware.
This site is dangerous. Get me out of here. Is that what goes on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to do an in-depth search on the deep web later at home, you can do that. But
yeah, but we don't have time for that.
yeah, there's
There's a
nothing
blood
that
hunt.
you just pull up on your phone.
Doggone it.
That's a bold sheriff. All I'm saying.
All right. So,
You guys heading out?
yeah.
I would assume as much.
I assumed I was reading while we were
Yep,
driving.
all right. So, yeah, Terry drives you guys out there. And you head out into this forest in the middle of nowhere, and Jonathan, you've got... Oh, actually, Steven, you've got Auspex now too, yeah? You just got it. So both of you can give me perception plus alertness checks.
4 for me.
4.
Yeah, both of you, as you're heading out into the forest, hear this weird howling as you're getting near your location. It sounds like wolves or something.
Oh, God, watch out for werewolves.
Okay, so I will unholster my weapon.
All right.
That will be my gun.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay.
So, do we have a direction on where the wolves are at?
No, it just seems to be coming from, like, all around you. Just kind of in the distance, not necessarily anywhere, like, nearby.
Okay.
It's very, very atmospheric.
Okay. And is there anything at this spot that we are, I mean, is there anything, were there previous
it's like,
wolves?
you're pulling up to the location that was specified, and it's it is like public land. It's like a campsite, basically. Anyone can use it. And there are trails that lead further off into the forest.
All right. So it's just a big area.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to search through.
Yep, pretty much.
All right. So with Auspex, do I hear anything other than the wolf howling? Like reveling or chanting or...
Not right now, but I'll keep you basically apprised if you're
Okay.
listening very carefully.
So, okay. Is there any like trail map or anything
You've
that we
got
could find? Like, because I'm assuming from my occult knowledge that they would want some sort of clearing.
there's a big, obviously it's like a state park, so there's a map out front that you can kind of look to.
Okay.
And there are a couple of clearings that you think could serve for a ritual location.
So I would probably let's go investigate those. That would be where I would think to go. I suggest we don't split up,
Why not?
since there is a possibility of werewolf.
Alright. So yeah, you guys are heading through kind of the woods, and Ryan, you start to feel like really uncomfortable with this.
Maybe I should stay back, guys.
All right.
If anyone's pursuing us, I'll hold them off.
Yeah, and if we run into a band of satanic cult worshippers, you would be helpful there as well. I'm just going to suggest this as just a possibility, Ryan. Just a suggestion. Can I give you, can I sort of dominate you and help you to help you?
No. I'm pretty sure we're same generation anyway, so I don't think you can.
Same generation works.
The answer's still no.
Okay. Okay.
So are you going to hang back or go with
I'm
them?
going to have to leave it up to Ryan. I mean, I can't force him to come with us, but...
It definitely feels uncomfortable for you to be going with them, but on the other hand, I mean, they're probably going into a mess.
Yeah, sucks to be that.
And you are the main mess taker-carer of. Actually, the other thing I will say is that you don't feel comfortable going into the forest. You also don't feel comfortable staying out of the car with neither Steven nor Terry with you.
You're going to be alone in a strange place, or you're going to be with Steven and Terry in a strange place.
Well, I guess I better go with you then.
Alright. So yeah, you guys all head off into the forest then, and Ryan's getting, particularly paranoid looking, a little bit jumpy. And, yeah, so, let's see. And, Steven, you said you were listening? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So as you guys are heading into the forest, you hear, like, a tromping sound, like something is coming through the underbrush. It seems to be coming towards you.
Okay. We should probably take up defensive positions.
Alright. And let me just... Alright, so this is what happens to you guys. It's up on stream, or it will be in a second. So this massive monster emerges out of the underbrush, moving very quickly. It kind of shakes around, looks at you guys, and just charges forward at you. So, we'll be doing some rolls for initiative here. So that is wits plus dexterity from everyone.
5.
Okay.
Let's see here. 5 here as well.
Ryan?
Ryan got scared and ran off.
Seven.
There we go. Okay. And let me find Terry's. All right. So yeah, this massive goat, which looks, like larger than you guys. It's a huge goat, comes charging out and starts, basically looks around, sees you guys, and then rushes to attack you. Terry's actually the one who reacts first, by, opening fire. Surprisingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he scores a hit.
See, here's the thing. I have absolutely no combat abilities.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be fine.
In transit, Miles.
I have a dread gaze, and that's it.
Alright. So, this thing charges forward. Terry starts shooting at it, but it does not seem impressed. And, next up is, Speedster Jonathan.
Alright. I will try to dread gaze.
Alright. Does that work on animals?
I don't know.
Alright.
We're about to find out.
Let me,
Because I have nothing else. I don't have a weapon.
be hot at it.
Now, we'd really appreciate your help, so if you could please leave us alone.
Please punctuate that, though, with screams in the middle of it.
I'd really appreciate it if you could leave us alone. Does that work? More like grunts of pain than screams, but whatever.
Well, it doesn't say specifically, but it does say that, basically you're revealing your true vampiric nature, claws, fangs, and everything like that, and animals do react to vampiric nature. So in this case, I will allow it, considering you have nothing else to do anyway.
Alright.
So what is your charisma plus intimidation?
That would be intimidation, you say?
Mm-hmm.
7, specialty being captivating.
Perhaps you haven't noticed how hot I am, goat. You try and impress this thing by being hot and, you know, kind of glowering at it.
Well, I'm trying to sort of dread gaze it, aren't I? Scared away.
Yeah. I mean, you use appearance in it, so...
But you tried.
No, I didn't. I used charisma.
Oh, is it charisma? Sorry.
You asked for charisma.
Right. No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of someone else.
I think dread gaze uses appearance, but you asked for charisma.
I think I might be thinking of... I think I've been screwing up,
Well, if you're mixing up charisma and appearance, it's the same roll either way, so who cares?
Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's just, do I get a specialty or not?
Yes, we have been screwing it up, but we did not screw up Dread Gaze. I screwed up entrancement earlier. That is appearance plus empathy, not charisma plus empathy.
Well, whatever. Same roll.
Yeah. Alright. So, you try and impress it, but it does not seem to be... Kind of like when Ryan was going crazy earlier. He does not seem particularly impressed by you.
Uh-huh.
And it
Oh
is
boy.
Ryan's turn next.
Okay, spend a blood point for celerity.
Okay.
I have to wait until next turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, so it's been a while since I got my turn. We're fighting, like,
A big
A
ram.
giant goat, was it?
Yep, giant goat.
Giant goat. Alright, cool. Is anyone else... Did Terry engage, just shoot it, or
Yep, he
engage in a
just shot
fight
at
with
it.
it? Okay. How far away is it now?
It is basically charging towards your group, so it is within easy range that you could just walk up and hit it melee style if you want to.
I will back away and shoot it.
Okay. Dex plus firearms?
5. Actually, 4.
Okay.
I've got armor on.
And what is the damage on your gun?
7.
Alright. The old deagle.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, you open fire on this thing's hide, but it does not seem to be affected whatsoever. Alright. And it is Steven's turn.
Okay, so do I have time to check this thing out and still fire, or do I only get to...
You can shoot at it if you want to.
Right, but do I have time to make, like, an occult assessment of this thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So that's 7.
It's larger than a ram should be. It looks like it is some sort of monstrous creature. What
But-
exactly that means, you would have to, like, dissect it. But it's not normal.
Right, but are the bullets penetrating it and it's healing, or is it just, are they bouncing off?
It seems like it is, yeah, it seems like some of the bullets have not necessarily... They're hitting it, they're hurting it a little bit, but not very much. This thing does
Okay.
have some kind of supernatural resistance.
Okay.
If I only had my shotgun from earlier.
Yeah, didn't you have a shotgun like the last
No,
time we
he
did
took
this?
your shotgun.
Oh, he took my shotgun from the car. That's right. I don't think I have it anyway.
That's a shame. It could have been really useful right about now.
Yeah. So is there any apparent weak spot?
Not that you can see, no.
So, well, well.
This is
So,
quite
okay.
the pickle we're in.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to think if there's anything other than, because my handgun's probably not going to do much, but I will attempt to fire at it as well.
Alright, Dex plus firearms.
That's 5.
Are you going to take, Alright.
But this is my specialized with the grip and the...
Do you have a specialty in firearms?
I don't, because I only have 3.
Okay. What was the damage on your...
5.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so you open fire on this thing as well, and then it is the ram's turn. So it charges at Derek first, because it would be convenient if he were disabled for some reason.
Yeah, he can do claws, though. He didn't get a turn to do claws.
He is moving beneath the ram. Alright. It'd be funny if this killed Derek.
No, it wouldn't be funny.
I would, if it did actually kill him while he's gone, I
It
would
would
probably
be
fudge it to say it's
hilarious.
one less than fatal.
It
Since it's
wouldn't
kind of
be
bullshit
funny.
to kill someone while they're not here.
Hilarious.
Holy cow. Well. Alright.
Oh, Derek actually kills. He's underneath the ram, and his claws just go up into.
Well, he's not killed by this, but he is left crippled with aggravated damage. So,
Oh.
you do notice
Oh.
this as well. The horns, those wounds don't look like they're healing on Derek. Basically, all of you can tell this is aggravated damage, and your blood is not going to heal it.
Alrighty.
So, we're back around to Terry, who continues to fire on this thing. Alright. Okay. So he continues to fire on this thing, and the bullets do seem to be having some kind of effect. It is slowing down just a little bit now. And we are around to Jonathan.
I'll try dread gazing it again.
Alright, charisma plus intimidation.
7 specialty. Should I use willpower on this?
If you want to, you can.
It
I think I
would be
will.
ideal if you could disable
I think I will.
Alright. So you are again trying to get it to slow down, but it is not seem responsive to your efforts.
Even with a... Oh.
And, it is Ryan's turn.
What's the plan, guys?
Are you gonna
Attack.
mano this
Hope
thing?
for the best. Go for it, my guy. You have 2 attacks.
Zach, how much blood can I spend per turn?
You can spend 1 blood point per turn.
Oh. Okay, well, I'm putting it into things.
What do you spend it on?
I don't know. Oh, wait, I should probably spend it on next turn celerity. Oh!
You're assuming you're gonna make it to next turn.
Let's see, you said Terry's last shot actually made a difference, right?
It's starting to. It seems like the amount of fire you guys have poured on this thing is starting to have an effect.
Okay, cool. I will, wait.
Excuse me.
Is there, like, a tree line I could retreat behind?
There is, but this thing is actually, like, crashed through. There are, like, some smaller trees, and it's already, like, crashed through them. There's no, like, big trees that you think would stand up against this thing.
Well, as long as I can just get out of line of sight to use obfuscate.
Alright, yeah, you could do that.
Alright, so I would like to fire a shot first and then do the obfuscate,
Okay.
and I'm spending the celerity next turn.
Alright. So what's your dex plus firearms?
4.
Okay. 7 damage on your deagle?
Yep.
Okay. You guys are so screwed.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to tell us that. We are quite aware.
Alright. Actually, your shot seems to have significantly more effect than any of the other shots that have been fired so far. But this thing is still pissed off and attacking. So, Steven, you are up.
Alright, 5.
Alright, and what is the damage on your gun?
5.
Okay. Yes, that is actually just enough. This thing turns and it starts charging down at you, and you fire one shot right into its head, and it just kind of falls over and just kind of like skids to a stop, like right at your feet.
All right then. All right then. So I can make a closer inspection now?
Yes,
is this
you can.
Sort of mutated something or other, or is this some creature brought
yeah,
out
you
of
have-
the dimension? What is this?
Yeah, what's your intelligence plus occult?
7.
Okay.
Well, good work. Nice team effort here.
So, you're not sure exactly what it is. You have heard stories about, like, Nosferatu and Gangrel, who fed animals their blood and turned them into, like, huge ghoul animals, but you've never really encountered anything like this before.
And so I can look at the horns and I notice something about them?
They seem like they do more damage to vampires. Based on Derek's wounds, they obviously deal more damage to vampires than horns ought to. Derek is commenting that he is unable to heal himself.
I'll take down a note of this for use in my next story.
All right, so do we...
Can we take the horn?
Yeah, I think we can. Terry has a knife on him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Remove the horns?
Who wants
Let's
to
make
make
a spear out of
the
it.
dexterity plus crafts roll?
That's 5 for me.
Mine's free.
Okay.
Anyone have higher?
I
Also,
doubt-
use a
I doubt
willpower
anybody else
point.
has crafts, so, you know.
No.
All right. Okay. So you're able to basically saw them off. You're not sure exactly how stable they are, but you do still have them. You have 2 horns.
2 horns. Are they small enough to put in my satchel?
Yes.
Flop it
What
on
do
the
I want? I
end
want
of my
bloody
staff.
horns in my satchel.
So you're keeping them both in the satchel, or?
Plop the tip of one of them onto my staff.
Well, yeah, we really don't have time for that right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
you want me to duct tape them on?
As you guys are discussing whether or not you have time, you hear, like, shouts and things of, like, a large group of people approaching your position.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna shove these into my satchel and we'll get out of the way.
Alright.
Right.
Everyone...
Can I take a picture? Should I take a picture of the... No, I shouldn't. It's a bad idea.
Oh
Do I
no,
want to
that's
carry
a
around a
disposable camera.
Masquerade violation, or no?
I meant
We
for
got
use
that
this reference in my
disposable
book.
camera.
Ah. So,
Alright.
Ryan can just obfuscate himself, but everyone else give me, wits plus, stealth rolls to see how well you hide yourselves.
That's not gonna be well at all. That'll be 3.
Okay. Jonathan?
What's the roll, sorry?
Wits plus stealth.
That's 2 for me, so I'll use a willpower point.
Okay.
He's gonna think really hard.
It's a
Don't
good
find me,
thing you
don't
did
find me, don't find me. You can't see me, you can't see me.
Alright. And, yeah, so you guys all kind of duck out the side, and you see that there are basically cultists have, like, you assume they're cultists, they're dressed like cultists,
Like you
they're
would think
dressed in, like,
cultists would
robes and
dress.
things like that. They're running around, searching for something, and they find, the goat. And they all kind of descend on it, but then some of them are like, they were kind of, it looked like they were hunting the goat. So a couple of maybe the more clear-headed ones are kind of looking around as if for something. But you guys are able to sneak away from the clearing without basically running into any cultists.
Okay. All right. So are we completely lost in the woods yet?
No.
Okay.
In fact, you know which direction the cultists came from if you want to head back that way.
So, okay, let's head back that way.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So you guys sneak through, and you're able to creep up to the edge of this big clearing, and ahead of you can see, because you guys were moving kind of slow to avoid notice, the cultists have dragged back the ram, and they have prevented it in front of this guy who seems to be their leader. This guy. And he is sitting there, and one of the cultists kind of comes up and whispers to him, and he kind of nods as he's kind of getting the report. And he says, then he calls out to like the congregation there, some of those here are not of our kind. And then he says, destroy those who attempt to subvert you from the one true path. And then he turns and goes into like a cave behind the clearing. And everyone else, some of them start tearing apart the ram, others start like spreading out into the forest to look for you guys, presumably.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, how difficult would it be to get into that cave?
Well, it depends who's going.
How difficult?
Probably someone with obfuscate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how difficult would it be for an old, crippled man to get into that cave?
Extremely difficult. Yes.
But see, the problem is Ryan doesn't do well on his.
No, he doesn't.
So.
But you guys don't think that anyone else has a chance of sneaking in there without being detected by the cultists?
Well, look, a man's gonna do what a man's gonna do.
I was gonna say, do you feel you're up to it, Ryan? Because we're counting on you.
Courage 5, I got this.
Okay. All right.
Stephen, suppose for a second the courage of a man could be measured on a score out of 5. I find that mine is 5.
All right. So
for comparison's sake, mine would be 2.
Very well.
All right. So you're heading in. And I will call for a courage roll as you reach the mouth of this cave.
5.
See how ballsy you feel.
It's enclosed. I mean, he's not going to be out in the open anymore.
No, this is an extremely novel experience for him, though, and he's going in completely on his own. So, you get there, you take a deep breath, even though you don't really need to, and with your quarterstaff and gun in hand, you step inside. So, as you head down this way, you can see you can see the cult leader, who is standing over a staked body, and he seems to be just kind of cursing at it. He doesn't seem to be well disposed towards the body itself, but he does not seem to notice you.
Okay. Shall I simply sneak past, guys?
So we don't know what Loden looks like, right?
No, you do not.
But there is a
stake vampire, so
that very possibly.
Okay. What was it? One person guarding?
He's standing over a stake vampire. There are a couple of other passages. There's one that looks like it's not even really a door. It's like kind of a wooden plank that can be raised, which seems to lead into like a small passage that, I mean, a human could crawl in there, but you can't walk in there. And then there is a sort of room off to the side.
But there's only one guy.
Yes, there is only one guy.
Get behind him, stake him through the heart.
Alright.
This is gonna be my thing.
Alright. Like how much...
Whether they're vampire or not, he'll stake him through the heart.
What ridiculous level of strength do you put yourself at before you do this?
You are full of blood.
I was just about to say, while I'm still invisible and stuff, I'm going to take advantage of the time I have. While I'm sneaking up on them, I'm going to spend some blood points to boost my strength.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, Like, I'll take the time it takes to bring my strength up to 10.
Okay. So, first off, give me dexterity plus melee.
It's gonna be a thing, isn't it, with you, David? It's gonna be a thing.
We're getting there. Yeah.
Dex plus melee is 7.
Alright. And I did check, some brilliant game designer did not give this guy any aspects.
Yeah, you don't need aspects. Give me
Nah.
protein.
It's why, if
No.
you're ever a game designer for Vampire the Masquerade, every enemy that you don't want to just get punked out and killed like this should have aspects. Yes, you hit. What is its strength plus 1 for damage? Your strength is up to 10.
11.
Alright, so it's 11, and then you got some extra successes on here. Alright.
Or should I say,
Western technology.
Okay. Are you spending willpower points on this too, or
nah,
are you sure?
positive.
You do need 5 successes to stake someone, as I recall.
3.
Nah, I've got
Is it 3?
this.
3 after soak.
Ah, yeah. Okay. And no specialties?
Nope.
Okay.
No, he's only buffed up to 10. He doesn't actually. 10.
Alright. So you jam this thing in this guy's back. And you feel like you actually do penetrate his heart, which should disable a vampire. This guy basically turns up straight and then turns around to face you, looking extraordinarily displeased. So what is your wits plus dexterity?
Looking mildly upset.
Mildly annoyed.
Dexterity is 6.
A tiny bit bothered.
Alright. So, the first thing he does is spend a blood point to activate his protean claws. And he'll take a swing at you. If you want to try and dodge, you know.
Yeah, I'll make an attempt.
Says nonchalantly, weirdly calm.
Did you activate celerity too when you were sneaking up on him?
I absolutely did. I've been saving it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just making sure. Alright. Sorry, I have to count up all the dice he has. And what is your dex plus dodge?
It is 6.
So now Ryan believes that the stake went into this guy's heart, but in reality, is it on the other side of his body?
No, actually, this stake absolutely did penetrate his heart. If he were a vampire, he would be disabled right now.
Okay, but he's not a vampire, is what you're saying.
Nope.
Apparently, something worse.
Apparently,
Or
like
he could be some sort of vampire. Well, he was in O'Day, so he's some hell of a type of vampire. But there's also, of course, the thaumaturgy ritual that lets you... It's not disintegrating, but it could be like the stone heart ritual or something like that. But, yeah. He's something. So you are able to basically leap out of the way of this guy's claws. And it's your turn.
Okay, so outside,
My staff.
how long has it been?
It's been only like a minute.
Okay.
What was that you said, David?
I said whip out my staff and smash his head.
Alright. And what is your Dex plus Brawl? Or, melee?
7 with a specialty.
You should just file
Oh,
down
wow.
the end of your quarterstaff to make it a stake.
That'd be kind of cool. So, I love that he just decided to take this guy on by himself, not sneak back out to us and tell us what's going on.
Well, he was guessing that it would just kill
You
him.
you don't sneak back out when you've staked them. Like, he knows I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like before you staked him, like you could have gone in and said, hey, there's one guy in the stake body, I think it's Logan. You could have come out and told us that. We could have devised a plan. No, instead, Jonathan, Steven, Terry, we're all standing out there going,
So what is...
why am there alone fighting the Bali?
Shut up. By the way, Zach, I'm spending blood points again for Slurry next turn.
Okay. So what is your, it's strength plus 3.
13.
Okay.
Damage is 6 on the staff, actually.
I think that I added in your strength.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Okay. Alright. This is so many die. Alright.
Okay, so if this guy comes walking out of the cave and just throws Ryan's body out, then we'll know something went wrong.
Yeah, I guess. Yep, nope, you actually make it. This one, you, like, full celerity... Actually, you have potence, too, don't you? I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I'm not now.
Yeah, so with that, you just swing at this guy with everything you have and just crash into his skull. And he is, basically, he smashes into the wall and then just collapses on the ground unconscious.
Well done.
Yeah.
Too easy.
You literally hit him
Alright.
with such force that your quarterstaff actually splintered as you smashed him with it.
Wow.
Whoa, that's not good.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you
not.
are weaponless, but it looked super cool.
Well, no, that's not true. I'm not weaponless. I have 2 staffs now.
It's true.
I believe I have 2 8th staffs now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He dual wields.
So yeah, this guy is out. He is completely unconscious.
Alright, I'll head back out and I guess I'll drag the 2 bodies with me and get out there and meet the guys.
Alright.
So I come out to the cave casual like and like, hey lads, look what I found.
Alright. So you walk out into the midst of the cultists with these 2 bodies. And your friends from the clearing kind of see this.
Oh, God above.
And the cultists kind of look over to where you're holding Rourke, and they look down at Rourke's broken body. And then, basically, they all just run away. They just flee en masse from you.
Oh, well, that was good. Okay. So let's go talk to Ryan. Oh my. All
I
right.
hold up my broken staff to Steven just with a pleased smile.
All right. Well, I will pat Ryan on the shoulder and tell him that he did a good job, and I'm glad he's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to assume that the staked body is Loden.
Yeah, it does match the description that you have of him.
Okay. All right, so we should probably unstake him, except that he's going to be, well, I don't know if he's hungry or not. But anyway, we will unstake him.
Alright. So the moment you unstake him, he looks around at you, and then he looks over at the body of Rourke, and he immediately goes over to it and just, like, sinks his fangs into it.
I guess we did have a body on. I was going to give him the goat or something, but
Yeah, actually, as soon as he's finished with Rourke, he goes over to the goat, and he drains that as well.
Okay.
And basically,
Okay.
do any of you try and approach him during this stage, or
No.
wait
Let him-
politely?
No.
he
no.
is
If anyone does, I will actively try to prevent them from doing so.
yeah, no, we'll just stand back at a respectful distance.
All right. So when he is finished,
Further.
he looks over, and then he looks over at all of you, and then says, "State your names."
Right then. I bow down slightly towards him, and I go, I am Jonathan Weiss of Clan Toreador. A pleasure to meet you, sir.
All right. He looks over at the other two.
Ryan Farrell, Malkavian.
I was going to say, if Ryan doesn't say anything, I'll introduce Paul.
All right.
And then, so I will say, Dr. Stephen Higgins, here to present Derek Williams to you as requested.
All right. And Derek kind of limps out of the forest with, like, these horn marks, gouges all over him. Presents himself. And then Loden nods. And he says, "Very well. Take me back to the city."
As you
Well,
wish, though there is the problem of
yes.
us having a blood hunt called on us at the moment.
There you go.
I will see to that.
Excellent.
One of you will drive me, the rest of you will remain here.
Shall I take him? I look around the others.
Well, I would suggest that we have Terry drive him. Since Terry
If
can
you
drive.
think that's better.
Um, so if you wish to go with them, yes, you can.
All right. So,
Sure.
so he makes it clear that one person is going to be driving him. The rest of you are going to be staying out in the forest. So Terry is getting in the driver's seat. He makes his wishes known to you, Jonathan. So unless you're going to press the point.
No, I'm staying. It's fine. It's
Right.
no big deal.
So you guys are basically left out in the forest for a couple of hours before a helicopter comes around, and you notice it's actually the same helicopter that you got in before. And it lands kind of nearby, and they motion for you to get in.
Get in?
Right?
Yeah.
So you guys are flown back into the city, back to the Sears Tower. You're brought into the Prince's Haven, where you see that a number of elder vampires have assembled. There is the sheriff there, as well as Ballard and Neely and Annabelle, and a number of others that you don't recognize. So, when you guys kind of file in, Loden steps out from beyond the destroyed vault door, and he says, "I have returned to the city after a foolish attack by one of my enemies. I acknowledge Derek and his right within Chicago. Additionally, I acknowledge that I owe each of these," and he points to you guys, the coterie, "a life boon. I will be meeting with each member of the Primogen privately after this. You," and he looks to you four, or you guys, and he says, "may go."
All right.
Thank you.
Gladly.
Alright, yeah, and your
Natasha
colors-
waves at them. Bye.
So yeah, you
I'll
guys.
wait back.
Oh, and regardless, I hadn't mentioned this before, but the guy who was piloting the helicopter both times you got into it was in fact Derek. Like
Ew.
actual ghoul Derek.
Right.
Nice.
Alright, so you guys are able to drive back into Gary, and you make it actually back to your havens pretty much just before dawn. And that is the end of the vampire's story, but there is also a final ending for the ghouls as well. So, you guys are basically waiting for Rourke to return, but rather than Rourke, instead you hear a knock at the door, and it is another man.
Natasha will open the door. She's got her hand on her gun, though, as she opens it.
So yeah, on the other side is this kind of well-dressed gentleman, and he says, "Good evening, madam. My name is Mr. Quinn, Mr. Heath Quinn. I am here to see Loden."
Give me a moment. She'll close and lock the door. Are we expecting a Mr. Quinn?
And then Loden says, "Heath Quinn?
Yes, sir.
Send him in."
Unlocks the door. Please, come in.
Alright. So, Heath Quinn, he enters, and then he very graciously kind of gives you sort of a courteous nod, Natasha, and he says, "Charmed, I'm sure." And
I know you are.
and then he walks past you guys into the room with Loden, and they close the door and start talking to each other. And Derek, I believe you have Auspex, yes?
Yeah, I do.
Alright.
Rank 1.
So yeah, you just kind of, you're not eavesdropping necessarily, but you do overhear that they mentioned that the problem has been taken care of, and the package is safe. And that's all you hear, but after a little while, they come back out, and Loden says, "We will be departing for the Prince's Haven." And so he has you guys get the car ready.
Has he explained what Elysium is?
He has given you the basics.
All right. She'll make sure she leaves her guns in the car then.
Yeah, you're going to visit a very important person. It would be very rude for you guys to bring your firepower with you.
All right.
He hasn't explained Elysium in so many words, but you have the general gist. Alright. So yeah, you guys drive, and Mr. Heath Quinn actually comes with you. And he seems to just kind of be smiling to himself the whole time.
Huh.
And so you guys enter it's an estate a little ways outside the city, and one of her retainers greets you guys at the door and says, he basically completely ignores you guys, but to Loden he says, "The Queen is expecting you, sir. Please follow me." And they walk away, basically just leaving you guys in the foyer for a few minutes until someone else comes in and says, "There are arrangements for you to entertain yourselves while the princes discuss important matters." And he will try and, show you further into the estate.
All right.
So as you guys are walking with Mr. Heath Quinn, you are passing by the room that the Lady Anne, the Queen of London, and Loden are in, and you do catch just a snippet of conversation between them. Anne is saying, "So, Prince Loden, I'm very glad you have arrived. Did you encounter any problems during your journey?" And Loden kind of chuckles. He says, "None, my lady. That troubled me to any degree." And Anne says, "Excellent. Well then, what is your business with me?" And Loden says, "No business. I just thought to challenge you to another game of chess. I rather fancy I've made a breakthrough concerning the use of pawns." And that is the end of the adventure.
All right.
And yes, they do use the chess metaphor, and in the adventure it specifically says that. It's not me.
Yeah, I figured. I remember that.
Generic.
I was going to say, it comes up again with, like, Janice and Portia. And
Yeah.
and Proteus and all those guys.
All right. So, what did everyone learn?
I learned about the existence of animals that can deal aggregated damage.
All right.
I'll put it into vampire terms. That deal damage that cannot heal.
Okay.
Well, I learned about fucking the ability to, like, not have your heart where it should be, or otherwise not get staked.
All right. That staking is not a solution for literally everything.
Ah, well, we'll see about that. I still won that fight.
All right.
And
Yeah,
I do have
you
my
like-
splintered staves, which I'm totally keeping.
All right. And you're putting it up on display in your room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use them.
All right. And Steven?
So I learned about I learned about the bloodless animal man, that he has some sort of power over us
Okay.
that I am not at all comfortable with.
All right. And since we're at the end of a full storyline, you guys did succeed. So, there are points for that. So point to a time when you came up with some sort of plan or strategy or something like that when you helped out the entire coterie.
Is this
Remember that time I
all-
sneaked in, staked that guy, and then beat his head until he died?
Yeah.
So is this just this session or the whole story?
For the whole storyline.
When I single-handedly saved the prince, I'm pretty sure that counts.
I'll give it to
Yeah. When I quote unquote seduced those two people in the police station.
you. All right.
The quotes are very important there. I wanted to remember those.
Mm-hmm.
You entranced them.
Okay.
There we go. Still in quotes though.
Well, I guess I did shoot the goat, didn't I? I actually brought it down.
Yeah. That's not really something that you kind of
Okay.
did on your own.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember what our last story, what we've done.
It was the investigation around the prince's place, the party.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I know you've done things. There are things that I can think of, so...
Okay, yeah, I'm just like, it was all, I drove people around and talked to people, but I didn't really do anything, like, on my own.
It doesn't necessarily have to be... I mean, you did things on your own.
So, anyway. Oh.
Alright.
So I dominated the policeman to get him out of the haven so Jonathan could get that blood that we could all drink.
Alright.
I don't know that it helped the party, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'll count it. Let's see. And so for role-playing, I believe Steven won the award last time.
Yeah.
Alright, so Steven, why don't you vote first, then?
So I'm going to vote for Ryan and
Okay.
his craziness.
Uh,
Take on the bad guy all by himself in a little...
alright, and
Yeah,
Ryan?
pretty cool. Well,
Well, you're voting for Jonathan because...
yeah.
Can't vote
Yeah.
for me.
And then you also...
In that case, Ryan's already won.
Alright. Well,
Yeah, because he can't vote for me either, so...
God, that's right. Alright.
So, I mean, it's nice we all won one. That's good.
Yeah.
Alright.
We're just...
It doesn't work. The system doesn't work well when someone doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Only 3 people, it doesn't work well, you're right.
Actually, just have a vote. Why not?
So I was also
Well, in that case, he could only bring it to a tie.
I was going to actually going to give out a special role-playing point as well. This is one of the points. You keep asking where that extra point goes. I keep it on hand in case anything I think kind of extraordinary happens. And actually, in the book, it suggests giving them for people who perform well after being dominated. So, I'll just hand out role-playing points to both Ryan and Jonathan as though they had both won the award this time.
All right, then. So how many points in total?
All right, so let me count them up. So you guys get 7, and then Steven picks up 6.
All right. Very nice.
All right. So I'm going to, before we end the recording, we'll give Cool Imp his shout out.
I enjoyed playing with you guys.
Yeah, that
Likewise.
was hella fun.
Yes.
And if anyone wonders where I get all the sass, because I also play other female characters, all of my sass comes from my wife, because she is a very, very strong woman in my life, and she is incredibly sassy.
All right. So, for those of you watching on YouTube or at home, Coolip runs his own game, San Antonio After Dark, at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Central, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And
we will be picking back up again on this Friday. A couple of players were out of town. We thought we would get a new guy in, but he fell through because he would literally get off of work, get home, and there'd be half an hour of the game left.
So. All right. So yeah, check out his game for sure. And yeah, I'm gonna end the recording here. Thank you for watching.